Success is something many people chase, but what if everything you've been told about it is missing the point? This is not just another talk about working harder or dreaming bigger. The real secret to success is about something deeper and more practical: how you live your daily life, how you handle challenges, and how you build habits that last. It's about what you do every single day, especially when no one is watching, and how you choose to grow even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. In this journey, you'll learn why taking responsibility for your actions is the first step toward real change. You'll discover how to create routines that don't just fill your time, but fuel your growth and keep you moving forward. Facing fears and doing hard things daily becomes a tool for building strength instead of something to avoid. You'll find out how removing distractions and focusing on what truly matters can give you the clarity and energy you need to succeed. This is about discipline, acting even when motivation fades, and learning every day to keep your mind sharp and open. You'll see how surrounding yourself with the right people pushes you higher, how mastering your emotions keeps you steady under pressure, and why tracking your progress one small step at a time makes all the difference. Imagine waking up early and using those quiet mornings to grow stronger. You'll learn why saying no to comfort is necessary, why patience is not just a virtue but a strategy, and how speaking less while doing more builds real results. Cutting out negative self-talk and pushing through pain builds mental toughness, and reflecting deeply on your mistakes turns failures into lessons. Clear goals become your map, and controlling your habits becomes the engine driving you forward. Staying humble opens doors to continuous learning and growth, while leading by example invites others to rise with you. This is a guide to changing your life not through quick fixes, but through steady, meaningful steps that build a foundation for lasting success. If you're ready to challenge what you think success looks like and learn practical, real-world ways to improve every day, this is the path for you. Stick with this journey and you'll discover how small choices build into powerful transformation. This is the secret to success, and it starts here now. Chapter 1. Break free from excuses and take full responsibility now. Most people want to change their lives, but very few are willing to start by looking in the mirror. The truth is hard. It's not popular. It doesn't sell as fast as shortcuts or feel-good quotes. But the truth is this: nothing will ever change until you take full responsibility for your life. As long as you keep pointing fingers, as long as you keep saying it's not my fault, or they held me back, or life just isn't fair, then you're handing away your power every single day. You're giving control of your future to circumstances and people who don't care about where you end up. And until you stop doing that, you'll stay stuck. Responsibility is not blame. It's not shame. It's not saying everything that happened to you is your fault. That's not the point. The point is that your response to everything, every challenge, every failure, every unfair moment, is what determines your direction. The moment you stop waiting for someone to come save you, you start to save yourself. The day you say, "This is on me," your life begins to move forward. That's when change becomes possible. Most people don't realize how many excuses they make every day. They say they're too tired, too busy, too old, too young. They say they didn't have the right parents, the right education, the right chances. They blame traffic, the economy, their boss, the weather. They build entire identities around being the victim. And the longer they live in that mindset, the more powerless they feel. The truth is, life doesn't care about your excuses. Life moves forward, with or without you. Every excuse is a small surrender, a quiet way of saying, "I'm not in control here." But the people who create real change in their lives are the ones who stop surrendering. They stop explaining and start acting. They stop waiting for motivation and start moving anyway. Taking responsibility means owning your results, good or bad. If your life isn't where you want it to be, you own that. If you're not growing, you own that. If your relationships are struggling, you own that. It's not about feeling guilty. It's about recognizing that you're not helpless. Because if your actions got you here, then your actions can get you out. That's the power of responsibility. It gives you your freedom back. Think about your current habits. Are they helping you or hurting you? Are you showing up every day with discipline, or are you making excuses for why you can't? When you miss a deadline, do you blame others, or do you own your lack of focus? When things go wrong, do you look for what you can fix, or do you get defensive and look for someone to blame? Your answers will reveal whether you're living in growth or in denial. Growth only happens in reality. You can't improve a life you keep lying about. And excuses are lies we tell ourselves to avoid doing the work. They feel comforting in the moment, but they always cost more in the long run. Every time you say I can't, what you really mean is I won't. Every time you say it's not my fault, you're saying I refuse to take control. It's time to stop lying to yourself. If you're tired, say you're tired, but then ask what needs to change. If you failed, admit it, but then ask what you can learn. That's responsibility in action. It's not a one-time decision, it's a daily mindset, and it requires brutal honesty. Responsibility doesn't mean life is fair. It means you accept that fairness is not required for you to take the next step. You might have had a rough childhood. You might have faced injustice, loss, pain, betrayal. Those things are real, and they matter. But even in the face of that, you still choose how you move forward. You can let pain define you, or you can let it shape you into someone stronger. You can choose bitterness, or you can choose growth. No one can make that decision for you. The people who rise, no matter what life throws at them, are the ones who decide that nothing will stop them from taking the next right step. They don't waste time complaining. They don't need perfect conditions. They move forward with whatever they have, from wherever they are. And because of that, they grow. Because of that, they succeed. Not all at once, but steadily, quietly, relentlessly. Taking responsibility is not about perfection. You will mess up. You will fall short. You will feel weak. That's part of being human. Responsibility isn't about being perfect. It's about being accountable. It's about saying I made this choice, and then making a better one tomorrow. It's about building trust with yourself. When you keep showing up, even when it's hard, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. That creates confidence. Not the kind of confidence that needs applause, but the kind that comes from knowing you're in control of your life. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel strong, but responsibility doesn't wait for feelings. It moves anyway. You don't wait until you feel like working out. You go, and the feeling comes later. You don't wait to feel inspired to fix your finances. You sit down and make a plan. You don't wait to feel ready to change your life. You just begin. That's what responsible people do. They act their way into confidence. They act their way into change. And over time, those actions stack up into real transformation. Look around at your current reality. Look at your health, your habits, your mindset. Ask yourself, where am I still making excuses? Not as a way to shame yourself, but as a way to wake up. If you've been coasting, admit it. If you've been blaming, stop. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Your life is your responsibility. No one else can carry it for you. The world will try to distract you from this truth. It will offer you endless reasons to believe you can't. It will feed you stories of why success is only for the lucky, or the privileged, or the chosen. But you don't have to accept that story. You can write a new one. One where effort matters. One where consistency wins. One where self-respect is earned, not given. That's the real secret to success. Not shortcuts, or secrets, or tricks. Just honest work, done with discipline. Every single day, people will say, "But I'm overwhelmed." That's real. Life can be overwhelming. But responsibility doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means starting where you are and doing what you can. It means taking the next small action, even if it's imperfect. If you're deep in debt, it means opening your statements and making a plan. If you're unhealthy, it means going for a walk today. If you're lost in life, it means picking one habit to fix. That's how you rebuild your life, one hard choice at a time. Not overnight, but day by day. Excuses will keep showing up. They don't disappear. You just stop giving them power. You recognize them for what they are. Distractions from your own growth. You say, "Not today," and then you move forward anyway. That's how you build resilience. That's how you become unstoppable. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you understanding. The world rewards action, not intention. So stop waiting to be ready. Start being responsible. Responsibility turns ordinary people into leaders. It creates character. It builds habits. It makes you someone others can rely on. But most importantly, it makes you someone you can rely on. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. Honest about where you are. Honest about what you want. Honest about what you're avoiding. When you live like that, your path becomes clear. Not easy, but clear. Every single day is a new chance to take responsibility. You can choose to own your time, your energy, your growth. You can take back control from every excuse you've ever used. You can stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "What can I do about it?" That shift changes everything. You will never regret taking responsibility. You will never regret showing up for your life. You will never regret the work, the effort, the sacrifice, because all of it is making you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who doesn't run from difficulty, but rises through it. If you want to change your life, this is where it begins. Not with a new plan, not with a new app or a new book. It begins with one hard decision. I will take full responsibility for everything in my life from this moment forward, not because it's all my fault, but because I am the one who must live it, shape it, and improve it. That's the foundation. That's the power. That's the secret to building a life that means something. You don't need a perfect past to create a powerful future. You just need to stop making excuses and start owning your path. The moment you do that, everything begins to change. You rise, you grow, you build, one responsible action at a time. And you never go back. Chapter 2. Build a strong daily routine that fuels growth. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they live without structure. They wake up each day without a plan, reacting to whatever comes their way, allowing the day to dictate their mood, their productivity, and ultimately their future. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you create a solid foundation of habits that push you forward day after day, without exception. A strong daily routine isn't just about getting more done. It's about building the kind of life that keeps getting better, because every single day you've decided to take full control of how it begins, how it flows, and how it ends. When you design your routine with intention, you take back your time, you stop drifting, you stop wasting your energy on low-value activities. You stop allowing others to shape your direction. Instead, you become deliberate. You become focused. You build discipline into your life, not as something you force, but as something you rely on. It becomes the structure that supports your mental clarity, your physical health, and your emotional resilience. And without it, you fall into chaos, where decisions are rushed, emotions run the day, and nothing seems to improve, no matter how badly you want it to. The first thing you must understand is that a powerful routine begins the moment you wake up. How you start your day matters more than most people realize. The early moments set the tone. If you begin your day checking notifications, rushing through the morning, skipping breakfast, and reacting to stress, you're already off course. That is not control. That is survival mode. You need to shift out of that pattern. You need to wake up with a plan, not just a hope that things will go well. Starting your day with clarity, calm, and commitment creates momentum that carries into everything else you do. You don't need to do 100 things, you just need to do a few right things consistently. Choose to wake up at the same time every day, not because it's easy, but because consistency builds strength. Your body and mind respond well to rhythm. Create space for yourself in the morning before the world gets loud. You don't owe the first hour of your day to anyone but yourself. Use it wisely. Hydrate. Move your body. Get some light. Reflect. Set clear goals. Do something meaningful for your mind, whether that's reading, journaling, or reviewing your priorities. These small acts, when done daily, build internal order. They sharpen your mind, they raise your energy, and they tell your future self, I'm serious about my life. After your morning foundation is set, your routine should continue with purposeful structure. Block out your time with clear intention. Decide what you will focus on, and when. Most people waste hours each day simply because they haven't decided how to use their time before the day begins. You don't need to plan every minute, but you must identify your high-value actions and protect them. If something matters to your progress, it must be scheduled. If you leave it to chance, it won't happen. Time that is not claimed will be taken by distractions. So decide now what matters most today. What action moves me forward? What can I remove that adds no real value? Discipline does not mean doing more. It means doing what matters with full focus. That means saying no to mindless scrolling, to unnecessary multitasking, to shallow habits that give temporary relief but steal long-term momentum. It means creating space in your day for deep work, where your energy is not scattered and your mind is not hijacked by every notification or impulse. Most people live on autopilot. You cannot afford to do that. Growth is intentional. It doesn't show up just because you're busy. It shows up when you choose what to give your time to, and then follow through without compromise. A routine that fuels growth also includes recovery. You are not a machine. Your routine must have space for rest, movement, and reflection. Your energy is your greatest resource. Protect it. Move your body every day, not just for fitness, but for focus and clarity. Eat well, not just for health, but for consistency and energy. Rest deeply, not just for sleep, but for regeneration. When your routine respects your limits, you become stronger, not weaker. Burnout happens when you try to grow without recovery, so don't glorify exhaustion. Glorify consistency. Glorify self-respect. That is where your long-term growth lives. Growth routines are not built in a day. They are built by showing up for yourself over and over, even when it feels boring, even when no one's watching. They are built by doing the small things with excellence. You don't need to change your life overnight. You just need to stop wasting your days. One good day repeated becomes one good week. One good week becomes a new normal. That's how you change. Not with hype or big declarations, but with a quiet decision to do what's necessary every single day, without excuses. Don't copy someone else's routine blindly. Build your own. Your routine should reflect your priorities, your goals, your values. But it must challenge you. It must push you to use your time better, think clearer, and act with greater purpose. If your current routine is built around comfort and entertainment, you will not grow. If it's built around urgency and stress, you will not sustain. But if it's built around alignment and intention, everything changes. People often say they want to improve, but they spend their best hours distracted. They say they want more out of life, but they protect old routines that do nothing but keep them busy. Your future is hiding inside your daily habits. If you want to change the results, change the structure. Stop negotiating with yourself about what you'll do today. Decide once and follow through. The more you think about it, the more you delay. And delay always leads to regret. There is no success without structure. There is no progress without routine. Motivation may get you started, but only routine keeps you going. When motivation disappears, and it always disappears. Life gets hard, feelings fluctuate. Circumstances shift, but your routine is the anchor. It's the proof that you're committed to something bigger than comfort. It's the system that protects your future from being shaped by impulse. You do not need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. Small wins, stacked daily, turn into extraordinary progress. You don't see the growth on day one, but you will feel it over time. You will look back after 90 days and realize how far you've come. Not because of big breakthroughs, but because of small disciplines repeated without fail. You owe it to yourself to live on purpose, and a powerful routine is the beginning of that purpose. If you want mental clarity, make time for reflection. If you want physical health, schedule movement. If you want deeper relationships, create space for connection. If you want financial growth, block time for learning and planning. Nothing meaningful happens without time, and time doesn't appear, you create it. A routine also builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove you can rely on yourself. That internal trust is more powerful than any external validation. You don't need others to believe in you. When your actions speak louder than doubt, when you live by a strong routine, your identity changes. You stop saying, "I hope I change," and start saying, "This is who I am now." Identity follows behavior. So if you want to be better, act better. Do the work that the better version of you would do. Growth is not a feeling. It's not a moment of inspiration. It's a daily choice, repeated, until it becomes your new standard. When your days are ordered, your mind becomes clearer. When your actions are aligned, your confidence grows. When your life is structured around what matters, your results begin to reflect your true potential. There is no shortcut. There is only discipline. There is only repetition. There is only the choice you make today, and the one you make tomorrow. A strong routine is not just a schedule. It is a declaration. It is the daily decision that your life is worth the effort, that your goals are not optional, that your future deserves more than chaos and chance. You become who you are by how you live each day. So start building the kind of days that create the future you want. Keep them simple. Keep them honest. Keep them strong. Then show up, no matter what. Do it again tomorrow. And never stop. Chapter 3. Face your fears and do hard things daily. Fear is not something to avoid. It is something to confront. Every time you run from fear, it grows. Every time you turn your back on something that makes you uncomfortable, you give it more control over your life. But when you face it directly, when you stand still and lean into it, you start to realize it has less power than you believed. Fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Most people spend their lives running from the difficult, the uncertain, the unfamiliar. They think staying safe is the goal, but safety becomes a trap when it stops you from growing. If you only do what is easy, you will never become strong. If you avoid the hard things, you will never discover what you're truly capable of. Growth requires resistance. It requires discomfort. It requires doing the very things that make you anxious, unsure and exposed. That's not punishment. That's preparation. That's how you become someone who doesn't get shaken by every challenge. When you start doing hard things on purpose, you build the kind of strength that stays with you when life throws something unexpected your way. You become solid. You stop being reactive. You stop letting fear choose your path for you. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to lead your life. Every fear you have that's not physical danger is a story, a prediction, a thought. Fear says, what if you fail? Fear says you're not ready. Fear says they will judge you. But none of that is real until you believe it. It's all based on imagination, not fact. And the way you break through it is not by overthinking or waiting to feel brave. It's by acting, doing the thing. Even when your hands shake, even when your voice trembles, even when every part of you wants to back away. That's courage. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about doing what's right, even when you feel the fear. It's about being clear about your values and not letting fear interfere with your decisions. Most people stay in the same place year after year, not because they lack opportunity, but because they're afraid of discomfort. They want to grow, but they don't want to feel awkward. They want success, but they don't want to face the tension. They want confidence, but they avoid the very experiences that would give it to them. That's the trap. You want the result without the process, but the process is what makes the result meaningful. The process shapes you. The process reveals your strength. You don't gain resilience by reading about it. You earn it by walking through what you once thought you couldn't handle. Do something difficult every day, not for punishment, but for progress. Start a conversation you've been avoiding. Go to the gym when it's the last thing you feel like doing. Speak your truth when silence feels safer. Try something new that makes you look like a beginner. Train your mind to stop retreating. Train your body to move through resistance. Do the small hard things, and the big ones won't break you. Discipline is built in discomfort. That's where your next level is waiting. If you always choose comfort, your life will become smaller. You'll start to avoid risks, relationships, opportunities, and challenges. Not because you can't handle them, but because you've convinced yourself it's safer to stay where you are. That's not protection. That's slow decay. You were not built to hide. You were built to evolve. And evolution only happens through pressure. You must choose the hard path on purpose if you want to live with strength and peace. Hard things bring clarity. They show you who you really are and who you still need to become. The reason most people don't change is because they wait to feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. There is no perfect moment. There is no ideal feeling. There is only now. If you want to stop being controlled by fear, you must act while fear is present. You must take the first step while still doubting yourself. Then take the second while still feeling uncertain. With each step, your fear weakens. With each action, your confidence grows. And confidence built this way doesn't go away when things get hard again. It stays, because it was earned. The hard things you avoid today become the regrets you carry tomorrow. The phone call you didn't make, the change you didn't start, the risk you didn't take, all of it adds up. And over time, it becomes a heavy weight. The only way to avoid that future is to face the discomfort now. Growth doesn't feel good at first. It's awkward. It's humbling. It exposes your limits. But that's the point. When you know your limits, you can work past them. When you face your edges, you begin to expand them. You don't need to make huge leaps overnight. You just need to do one thing today that stretches you. Wake up and do the thing you've been putting off. Face the fear that keeps whispering you're not good enough. Step into situations that make you grow, not shrink. Your progress is not measured by how smooth the day went. It's measured by how many uncomfortable things you were willing to face with honesty and effort. This is not about being fearless. This is about being committed to a higher standard for yourself. Fear has one goal: to keep you the same. It's not evil, it's a signal, but it's not always telling the truth. Sometimes fear tells you to be careful. Other times, fear is just showing you where you need to go. Learn to tell the difference. Listen to your fear, but don't obey it blindly. Ask yourself, is this fear keeping me safe or keeping me stuck? Most of the time, it's the second. And when you see that clearly, you can begin to walk through it instead of around it. Doing hard things doesn't just change your results. It changes your identity. Each time you push through fear, you become someone who does what's necessary instead of what's comfortable. You become reliable to yourself. You stop breaking promises to your future. You build a new normal, one where fear still shows up, but it doesn't stop you. One where you face the unknown and trust yourself to grow through it. You were not born with a limit on how strong or capable you can become. That limit is built by repetition of either courage or avoidance. Every day, you're training yourself in one direction or the other. You're either reinforcing the habit of hiding or building the habit of rising. No one else can make that decision for you. The choice is yours, but you must make it daily. When you stop negotiating with fear, your life begins to open up. You see opportunities you missed before because you were too busy protecting yourself. You speak more honestly. You move more freely. You stop wasting time managing your image and start focusing on who you're becoming. That's the shift. That's the difference between a life led by fear and a life shaped by growth. You do not become great by avoiding the hard path. You become great by walking it daily. You don't wait for things to get easier. You become stronger, so that even when they don't, you still move forward, one decision at a time, one uncomfortable action at a time, until facing fear becomes part of who you are. The hard things will not disappear. The fear will not vanish, but you will rise above it, not once, but repeatedly. And in doing so, you'll discover a strength you didn't know you had. You'll stop running. You'll stop doubting. You'll start doing the things that matter, not because they're easy, but because they are worth it. And in the process, you'll build a life that reflects your courage, not your comfort. Chapter 4. Remove distractions and focus on what truly matters. Every day you are surrounded by noise, messages, updates, opinions, alerts, endless choices. Your time is pulled in every direction by things that do not serve your future. It happens slowly, without permission. One glance at your phone turns into 20 minutes. One small task pulls you away from what really matters. One more video, one more scroll, one more reply. By the end of the day, you feel busy but unfulfilled, tired but not productive, active but directionless. This is what happens when you live distracted. You confuse movement with progress. You confuse urgency with importance. You confuse noise with meaning. And slowly, without realizing it, your life begins to drift. You cannot build a meaningful life if you keep allowing distractions to run it. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Where it goes, your life follows. But most people give it away for free. They don't protect it. They don't shape it. They don't even notice when it's being stolen. But if you want to grow, you need to wake up to what's consuming you. You need to see how much of your time is spent reacting to things that don't matter. If you don't control your focus, someone else will, and they won't use it to improve your life. They'll use it to sell you things, distract you further, or keep you small. Distraction doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it's disguised as something useful. An article that seems helpful, a conversation that goes nowhere, a task that feels productive but isn't essential. The danger isn't in any one thing, it's in the accumulation of hours and days lost to things that feel like progress, but deliver nothing lasting. You're not weak for being distracted. You're human, but if you don't learn to interrupt the cycle, it will keep pulling you away from the life you're trying to build, and nothing will change. Focus is a skill. It's not something you're born with, it's something you train, and the first step is deciding what actually matters. You need clarity. Without it, you will always chase the loudest thing. Sit down and define what's truly important to you. Not what's urgent, not what's popular, not what others expect. What are the few things that, if done well, would make the biggest impact in your life? Keep those close. Everything else is noise, and you can't treat everything as equal and expect to grow. Once you know what matters, eliminate everything that steals from it. Be ruthless with your time, not harsh, but clear. You cannot afford to keep checking things that add no value. You cannot afford to keep saying yes to things that waste your energy. Every small choice counts. Every moment spent in distraction is a moment you don't get back. That's not pressure. That's precision. You are not here to react to the world. You are here to create a life of meaning. And that requires focus. Cut the invisible clutter. That might mean turning off notifications. That might mean saying no to certain people. That might mean building boundaries with your time. It might mean changing how you start your day, or what you reach for when you feel overwhelmed. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional. If something doesn't support your growth, limit it. If something constantly pulls you off track, remove it. That is not selfish. That is survival in a distracted world. To focus deeply, you must also slow down. Constant stimulation weakens your ability to think clearly. If your attention is always scattered, your thinking becomes shallow. You react more, you reflect less. You stay busy, but you don't create anything meaningful. So take time every day to step away from the noise. Even 5 minutes of silence can help you reset. Don't fill every gap with consumption. Make space to hear your own thoughts. That's where clarity begins. Your brain was not built for endless switching. Every time you jump between tasks, you lose energy. Your focus becomes fragmented. You make more mistakes. You feel more drained. Multitasking is a lie. It doesn't make you efficient. It makes you distracted. Train yourself to do one thing at a time. When you eat, just eat. When you work, just work. When you rest, truly rest. Give your full attention to what matters, and you'll get more done with less effort. Create an environment that supports your focus. Don't rely on willpower alone. Structure your space so distractions are harder to reach. If your phone is a problem, put it in another room while you work. If social media steals your time, uninstall it or use blockers. If noise breaks your concentration, find quiet or use tools to reduce it. Make it easy to stay focused and hard to drift. Your environment is either working for you or against you. Take control of it. Not everything that asks for your attention deserves a response. You don't need to reply instantly. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to be available all the time. People who respect your growth will respect your boundaries, and those who don't are not aligned with your path. Choose to live with intention, not obligation. Choose to protect your time like it matters, because it does. Focusing on what truly matters also means learning to be present, not just physically, but mentally. When you're with someone, be there fully. When you're working, give it your all. When you're resting, let go of guilt. Presence is rare in today's world, but it is one of the most powerful gifts you can give to others and to yourself. It brings depth to everything you do. It makes simple moments meaningful. It reminds you that life is not something to race through, but something to experience with attention and care. Clarity and focus don't make life dull. They make it rich. When you cut out what doesn't matter, you make space for what does. You become more aligned with your values. You make better decisions. You move with more confidence. You stop wasting time, and you start investing it. And over time, those investments compound. They show up in your relationships, your mindset, your achievements. Not all at once, but steadily, quietly, powerfully. Don't wait until life forces you to focus. Don't wait for a crisis to remind you what's important. Choose now. Choose to remove what distracts you before it costs you what matters. You only have so much time. Don't spend it living someone else's agenda. Don't give your energy to things that leave you empty. You were meant to build something better, something deeper, something lasting. Start small. Turn off one distraction. Remove one source of noise. Say no to one thing that doesn't serve you. Then do it again tomorrow. Focus is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. It is how you build a life of meaning in a world of noise. And every time you choose it, you take another step toward becoming who you were meant to be. Chapter 5. Discipline yourself to act even when unmotivated. Waiting for motivation is the fastest way to waste your potential. The belief that you need to feel inspired before taking action is a trap. Motivation is not reliable. It comes and goes. It fades when things get hard. It disappears when life feels ordinary. And if you depend on it, you will stay inconsistent. You'll find yourself making plans and breaking them. You'll start strong and stop early. You'll talk about what you want to do, but rarely follow through. Discipline is what separates people who succeed from people who hope. Discipline is what shows up when motivation is gone. It is the habit of doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel in the moment. Discipline begins with honesty. You must tell yourself the truth about your habits, your routines, and your mindset. If you're only taking action when it's easy, you're not committed. If you only work when you feel excited, you're not serious. Real progress begins when you stop asking how you feel and start asking what needs to be done. Feelings change. Commitments don't. And if you want to become someone who can trust themselves to grow, you must stop giving power to your mood and give it back to your decisions. Acting without motivation isn't about being robotic or cold. It's about being grounded in something deeper than emotion. You make a choice based on your values, not your urges. You show up for your goals the same way every day, not because you feel great, but because you said you would. That decision builds a kind of inner strength that doesn't rely on external energy. And the more you practice it, the less you need to wait for the perfect moment to act. You just begin. And because you begin, momentum follows. Discipline is not about doing extreme things. It's about doing small, consistent actions without negotiation. You get up when your alarm goes off. You complete the workout even when you feel sluggish. You focus on your work without needing to be inspired. You eat the food that supports your health, not just what tastes good. You speak with integrity even when it's uncomfortable. These are not glamorous actions. They're not always impressive to others, but they are powerful. They shape your identity. They remind you that you are capable of keeping promises to yourself, and that trust becomes your real source of strength. People often overestimate the importance of inspiration and underestimate the power of consistency. They wait for clarity. They wait for the right mood. But clarity comes through action. Confidence grows through repetition, and motivation is more likely to show up after you start, not before. Action creates energy. Movement creates desire. You won't feel motivated every day, but you can act like someone who's committed, and that action, taken again and again, becomes who you are. The world does not reward potential, it rewards action. You can have all the talent, all the ambition, all the intelligence, but if you don't show up when it matters, none of it counts. Success is not given to those who feel like it. It is built by those who do the work whether they feel like it or not. And if you want to live with purpose, you must learn to act without waiting for ideal conditions. You must learn to move without needing constant emotional support. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to begin. You also need to accept that discipline will feel uncomfortable. You won't always enjoy it. It will ask you to push through mental resistance. It will force you to delay gratification. It will challenge your desire for ease. But that discomfort is part of the process. You're not failing because it feels hard. You're succeeding because you're doing it anyway. The people who get ahead are not the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who chose to walk forward, even when it was difficult. Discipline means you stop negotiating with yourself. You don't waste energy deciding whether to act. You make the decision once and repeat it. That removes confusion. That removes hesitation. You don't wake up and ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You simply say, "It's time," and you move. The longer you debate with yourself, the more likely you are to quit. So remove the debate, build the routine, follow the structure, and let your discipline carry you through the moments your motivation can't. Another part of discipline is setting limits. You can't do everything. You need focus your energy where it counts. Choose your priorities. Cut the distractions. Eliminate the things that drain you, and give nothing in return. Create a system that supports your goals. Build habits that make action automatic. Don't rely on willpower. Design your life in a way that reduces friction. Discipline doesn't mean grinding every second. It means removing unnecessary decisions, so your focus stays sharp and your energy stays high. There will be days when you feel like quitting. You will wonder if it's worth it. You will hear that voice telling you to take the day off, to skip the work, to try again tomorrow. But those are the moments where discipline matters most. That's the moment where you remind yourself why you started. That's where growth happens, not when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable, and you keep going anyway. That's when you separate yourself from your old habits, your old doubts, your old patterns. That's when you rise. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be steady. Show up on the days you're tired. Follow through when you're stressed. Stick to your plan when no one is watching. You are not building a performance. You are building character. You are training your mind to respect effort over emotion. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. It won't always feel like a battle. Over time, it becomes your new normal. What you do daily matters more than what you do occasionally. You don't get results from what you do once. You get results from what you do consistently. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your reality. Without it, all you have are wishes. With it, you have direction. You stop starting over. You stop breaking your momentum. You create progress that stacks. You become someone who finishes what they begin. You will never regret showing up when it was hard. You will never look back and wish you had waited longer. The regret always comes from delay, from hesitation, from quitting. But you can avoid that. You can choose discipline today. You can act, even without motivation. And when you do, you give yourself the freedom to grow, not based on how you feel, but based on who you are becoming. That is the power of daily, intentional discipline. It doesn't just change what you achieve, it changes who you are. Chapter 6. Learn something new every single day without fail. Learning is not something you finish in school or something you return to only when life slows down. It is the foundation of personal growth and the most powerful habit you can develop. Each day is a chance to sharpen your understanding, to challenge your beliefs, to gather new insight that can shape your future. When you commit to learning something new every single day, you become someone who never stops evolving. You don't wait for others to teach you. You seek knowledge on your own terms. You make growth a daily priority, not a seasonal trend. The difference between those who improve and those who stay the same often comes down to one choice: whether they keep learning or whether they settle into what they already know. Learning daily is not about cramming information or chasing degrees. It's about awareness. It's about staying open. It's about being willing to admit you don't know everything and being excited by that fact. The moment you believe you've figured it all out is the moment your growth slows. When you wake up each day with the mindset that there is something valuable to gain, something new to explore, you start noticing lessons everywhere, in conversations, in challenges, in quiet moments, in books, in failures. You begin to use life as your teacher, and life never runs out of things to teach. A person who learns every day becomes increasingly useful to themselves and to others. They adapt quickly, they find solutions faster, they spot patterns others miss, they develop wisdom through experience, not just theory. Learning makes you more resilient because it gives you tools, it gives you clarity, it gives you options, and in a world that is always changing, those who learn daily stay ahead, not because they are smarter, but because they are more curious and consistent. You do not need hours each day to grow mentally. A few minutes of focused effort is enough to make a difference over time. Read a few pages from a book that stretches your thinking. Watch a short video that explains a new concept. Listen to a podcast that challenges your mindset. Take notes, reflect, ask questions. Apply what you learn, even in small ways. The goal is not just to consume information, but to let it change the way you think, work, and live. The habit of learning daily also keeps your mind active. It prevents you from becoming passive, from drifting into repetition and mental laziness. When you choose to learn, you create momentum, you give your brain something to chew on, you improve your focus and sharpen your judgment. You start having better conversations because your mind has something real to contribute. You begin to connect ideas across different areas of life, seeing links others miss. This doesn't require genius, it requires consistency. Not every lesson will be dramatic. Some days you'll learn something simple, a better way to manage your time, a new way to listen more fully, a small truth about your own habits. But those small lessons compound, they build on one another. They shape how you approach your goals, how you handle pressure, how you communicate with others. You may not feel the transformation right away, but it's happening. You're slowly rewiring your thinking. You're building depth. You're preparing for challenges you haven't even encountered yet. Daily learning also breaks the pattern of mental stagnation. When people feel stuck in life, it's often because they've stopped feeding their mind. They're repeating the same routines with the same thoughts, expecting different outcomes. But nothing changes until your thinking changes. New ideas create new possibilities. When you fill your mind with useful knowledge every day, you become capable of making better decisions, and better decisions are what create better outcomes. Don't just learn about one area of life. Expand your view. Read about topics you're unfamiliar with. Explore ideas that challenge your beliefs. Listen to people with different experiences. This doesn't mean you need to agree with everything, but it stretches your perspective. It makes you less reactive and more thoughtful. It helps you navigate complexity without getting overwhelmed. The more you learn, the more calm and clear you become in a noisy world. There is no perfect way to learn. The key is to make it a priority, not a task you squeeze in when everything else is done. Block out time each day, even if it's just 10 minutes. Remove distractions, engage fully, then take one idea from what you learned and apply it somewhere in your life. Knowledge that is not applied is just memory, but knowledge that is used becomes power. If you want to get ahead, use what you know, try new approaches, Adjust your behavior, test what works, reflect on what doesn't. That is how you go from information to transformation. Learning daily also keeps your ego in check. It reminds you that there is always more to understand. It keeps you from becoming rigid or arrogant. It makes you more adaptable, more humble, more aware. You stop pretending to know everything. You start asking better questions. You become a better listener. You learn how to improve, not just your skills, but your character. And that kind of learning makes you not just more intelligent, but more grounded and more useful in the real world. If you think you don't have time to learn, ask yourself how much time you waste on things that don't matter. Track how often you scroll without thinking, watch without gaining, or talk without listening. That time adds up. You don't need more time. You need more intention. You need to care about your growth more than your comfort. You need to remember that every day is a choice, to learn or to repeat, to stretch or to stay the same. No one is going to force you to learn. It has to matter to you. Learning daily is a way to build your future on purpose. You're not waiting for luck. You're not hoping things get easier. You're building the mental strength, the skills and the awareness to create a better life from the inside out. You're turning each day into an opportunity. You're planting seeds that will grow in ways you can't even see yet. And the longer you keep going, the more clearly you'll see the difference between who you were and who you are becoming. You do not need to know everything, but you do need to care about knowing more than you did yesterday. That is the mindset of a person who grows. That is how you stay sharp when others grow dull. That is how you find direction in uncertain times. That is how you stay useful in a world that keeps shifting. Learning something new every day isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. It's a decision to keep reaching, keep expanding, and keep growing, no matter how much you've already learned, no matter how far you've already come. Chapter 7. Surround yourself with people who push you higher. The people you spend time with shape the direction of your life more than almost anything else. Their habits, standards, expectations, and energy all influence you in ways you might not even notice. If you surround yourself with people who are always complaining, you begin to complain. If you're around people who settle for less, you start to lower your own expectations. But when you choose to stay close to those who demand more from themselves, you begin to raise your own standards. You don't just copy their behavior, you begin to believe that higher levels are possible for you too. Growth is contagious, but so is mediocrity. That's why your environment is either your greatest advantage or your silent limitation. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their mindset rubs off. Their beliefs shape your own. Their drive or lack of it sets the tone for your efforts. If your circle normalizes laziness, you'll feel no urgency. If your circle thrives on progress, you'll feel inspired to push yourself. This doesn't mean you judge or reject others, but it does mean you must be intentional about who you allow close. You can care for people without letting them influence your decisions. You can be kind without giving your energy to relationships that keep you stuck. If you want to move forward, you need to be around people who are moving forward too. The right people don't just support your comfort, they challenge your limits. They don't flatter you with empty praise, they hold you accountable. They don't let you slide when you make excuses. They remind you of your goals when you forget them. They inspire you not just with their words, but with their example. These are the people who help you grow, not because they agree with everything you do, but because they want to see you become the strongest version of yourself. If someone constantly drains your focus, weakens your mindset, or excuses your worst habits, they are not helping you evolve. Sometimes growth requires distance, not because others are bad, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself they still see. It takes courage to shift your environment. It takes honesty to admit when a connection is no longer aligned with where you're going. But holding on to familiar relationships at the cost of your future will always slow you down. You're not responsible for pulling everyone with you. You're responsible for honoring the direction you need to go. And often when you take that step, the right people begin to appear. Strong relationships are built on shared values. Look for people who are disciplined, not just talented. People who are consistent, not just charismatic. People who speak with purpose, who keep their word, who push through adversity with clarity and grit. When you surround yourself with those who are deeply committed to becoming better, you begin to raise your own standards without effort. You become more focused just by being in their presence. You stop tolerating excuses. You stop seeking shortcuts. You grow not through pressure, but through exposure to better examples. Choose people who speak about ideas, not just gossip. People who talk about solutions, not just problems. People who focus on progress, not just distraction. You don't need a large group. You need a solid one. Even one person with the right mindset can be enough to shift your entire perspective. If you can't find those people immediately, become one yourself. Set the tone. Be the kind of person others want to grow with. Lead by example, and you will attract those who are also committed to the path. You do not rise alone. Behind every person who succeeds is a group, whether small or large, that reinforced their discipline, challenged their thinking, and encouraged their resilience. Isolation breeds stagnation, but alignment breeds growth. When your circle reflects your goals, your habits improve, your decisions sharpen. You begin to live with more direction and less distraction. You stop explaining your ambition. You stop defending your priorities, because you're finally surrounded by people who understand what it means to chase something meaningful. Evaluate your environment with clarity. Ask yourself if the people around you push you forward or pull you backward. Do they support your progress, or are they invested in keeping you the same? Do they celebrate your growth, or do they feel threatened by it? You don't need to announce your decisions or justify your shifts. Just change your behavior. Set better boundaries. Spend more time where you feel encouraged to grow. Make space for those who bring clarity and wisdom into your life. Good company doesn't mean people who tell you what you want to hear. It means people who tell you the truth with care and strength, who challenge your blind spots, who call out your potential, who remind you that comfort is not the goal. Growth is. These people don't just make you feel good in the moment, they help you become good for the long term, and that matters more than short-term approval. There will be seasons where you feel lonely as you shift your circle. That's normal. Growth often starts alone, but that season of solitude is not empty. It's clearing space for better alignment, and once you begin to embody the values you're seeking, discipline, effort, vision, you'll attract others who are doing the same. You won't need to force connection. The right ones will recognize your energy and match it. This doesn't mean you abandon loyalty or reject people who are struggling, but there is a difference between someone who is struggling and wants to grow, and someone who refuses to grow. One will lift with you. The other will drag. Be compassionate, but be clear. You can love people without making them your inner circle. You can respect people without following their example. Your time and focus are limited. Spend them where they multiply, not where they are wasted. As you build your circle, look for more than shared goals. Look for shared discipline, shared standards, shared hunger. The people who are serious about growth will value structure, effort, and self-mastery. They won't waste time trying to impress you. They'll be too busy becoming better. Those are the people worth aligning with, not because they're perfect, but because they're real and committed. Sometimes the people who push you higher are not loud, they are steady. They don't always cheer, but they show up. They don't demand attention, but they bring presence. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you leave drained, scattered, and uncertain, or do you leave more focused, more honest, and more determined? Energy doesn't lie. Listen to it. If you want to go further in life, walk with people who've been where you want to go, or who are on the path with the same discipline. Their lessons, their habits, their mindset can save you years of frustration. They can help you avoid mistakes. They can remind you what matters when things get overwhelming. And in return, you do the same for them. That's how great relationships work. Not based on convenience, but on shared commitment to growth. You are not supposed to grow alone. You are supposed to be sharpened by people who demand more from themselves and inspire more in you. Choose your circle like your future depends on it, because it does. Let go of the ones who keep you small. Move closer to the ones who make you better. The people around you are either building your future or distracting you from it. Choose wisely. Then keep choosing wisely every single day. Chapter 8. Master your emotions and stay calm under pressure. Every day, life tests your ability to stay steady. The unexpected shows up without warning. Pressure builds in quiet moments. Conflict appears when you least expect it, and in those moments, your reaction defines your reality. The ability to master your emotions is not about becoming cold or detached. It's about building the kind of inner control that lets you respond with clarity instead of reacting with chaos. It means feeling everything without being ruled by anything. It means facing stress, conflict, disappointment, or uncertainty, and staying calm enough to think clearly and act wisely. Most people don't rise in stressful situations because they're too quick to let emotions take the lead. They let anger explode, anxiety spiral, or frustration cloud their decisions. They speak too fast, act too soon, or shut down completely, and afterward they regret it. But regret can't undo damage. The only real solution is emotional mastery, the skill of remaining centered when the world around you isn't. This is not something you're born with. It is a discipline you build through awareness, honesty, and consistent practice. Emotions are not the enemy. They are signals, not instructions. Anger shows up to tell you something feels wrong. Fear tries to protect you from harm. Sadness points towards something meaningful. But if you let these emotions dictate your behavior without questioning them, they begin to drive your life off course. Emotional mastery means listening to those signals without letting them take the wheel. It means giving yourself a moment of space before responding, so your actions come from values, not temporary feelings. Staying calm under pressure starts with being aware of your triggers. Everyone has moments when emotions rise quickly, when someone disrespects you, when plans fall apart, when you feel misunderstood or overlooked. Those moments are not problems. They are opportunities to build control, but you can only take advantage of them if you know what sets you off. Pay attention to patterns. Notice what situations consistently challenge your patience or shake your confidence. Once you recognize them, you can begin to prepare your response in advance, instead of falling into the same emotional reactions every time. A calm mind is not a passive one, it is a powerful one. Calmness does not mean you are numb or indifferent. It means you are not thrown off balance by pressure. When things go wrong, you keep your attention on what can be done. When people lose control around you, you hold your ground. When anxiety shows up, you slow your breathing and ground your thoughts. This ability does not appear overnight. It is trained, the same way strength is trained in the body. Through repetition, you learn how to stay steady even when everything around you is shifting. In moments of pressure, pause before speaking. Breathe before acting. Don't respond from emotion, respond from intention. That small gap between stimulus and response is where your power lives. When you lengthen that gap, you give yourself room to choose. You take the impulse and turn it into a decision. That's emotional maturity, and it becomes stronger the more you practice it. Not just in crisis, but in small everyday frustration. When someone cuts you off, when technology fails, when things don't go your way, those are all moments to train your inner calm. One of the most powerful things you can do is learn to sit with discomfort without trying to escape it. Most emotional overreactions come from the desire to avoid difficult feelings, but feelings don't go away when you ignore them. They grow louder. If you want to master your emotions, you must be willing to face them directly. Sit with anger without exploding. Sit with fear without shrinking. Sit with sadness without denying it. In that stillness, you begin to understand the feeling rather than being overwhelmed by it. Not every emotion requires expression. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you need to share it. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes stillness is wisdom. Learning to hold emotion without reacting on it immediately gives you an advantage in every area of life. Relationships, leadership, decision-making, discipline. You're no longer controlled by the moment. You control the moment. Pressure reveals character. In moments of challenge, the calmest person in the room is often the most respected. Not because they have all the answers, but because they hold their ground. They stay level-headed. They don't make things worse with panic or blame. They become a stabilizing force. That is who you want to be. And that version of you is built by choosing calm again and again, even when it's hard, even when emotions are high, even when everything inside you wants to explode. Emotional mastery also includes understanding that not every thought is true, and not every feeling deserves a reaction. Just because your mind creates a story doesn't mean you need to believe it. Emotions distort perception. When you're angry, you see insult where none was intended. When you're anxious, you imagine outcomes that haven't happened. When you're hurt, you believe people are against you. But these are not facts. They are filters, and you must learn to question them. Is this emotion showing me something real, or just something familiar? Is this reaction based on the present moment or on past pain? This kind of reflection brings freedom. You stop being led by emotional noise and start being guided by inner wisdom. Don't expect perfection. You will slip. You will react too fast. You will lose your temper sometimes. But every time you notice it, you gain awareness, and that awareness is what leads to growth. Emotional control is not about never feeling anything. It's about recovering faster. It's about noticing what's happening and shifting your response with clarity. It's about becoming the kind of person who can be trusted under pressure, not just by others, but by yourself. Emotional mastery also means you don't use pressure as an excuse to hurt others. You don't lash out and say, "I was just stressed." You don't use your emotions to justify disrespect. You don't blame others for your reactions. You take ownership. You apologize when needed. You repair quickly. You grow. This maturity builds trust. It makes people feel safe around you, and it gives you a deeper sense of self-respect. Because you know you're not being controlled by emotions you don't understand. To build emotional mastery, create small habits that strengthen your awareness. Reflect each evening on moments you lost your calm and why. Journal your thoughts when you feel overwhelmed. Practice breathing techniques when pressure rises. Step away from situations when you need to regroup. Over time, these small steps build strength. You begin to feel your emotions rise. And instead of panicking, you respond with wisdom. That's when you know you're growing. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can always control how you respond. That's where your real strength comes from. Not from avoiding hard things, but from standing firm when they appear. A calm mind doesn't mean life is easy. It means you are ready. It means you are no longer a victim of your emotions. You lead them. You guide them, you use them, and you live with clarity no matter how loud the world becomes. That is the power of mastering your emotions. That is how you become unshakable. Chapter 9. Track your progress and improve one step daily. Progress doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you become intentional with your time, your energy, and your actions. It happens when you stop guessing and start measuring. If you want to move forward consistently, you need to know where you stand. You need to track your habits, your behaviors, your results. Without this clarity, you're operating in the dark. You're busy, but not necessarily effective. You're doing things, but you don't know if they're working. Tracking your progress gives you direction. It turns effort into insight. It shows you what needs to stay and what needs to change. It gives you proof that growth is happening, even when it feels slow. One of the main reasons people lose motivation is because they don't see results. But often, the results are there. They're just not being noticed. When you track your actions, even in simple ways, you start to notice small improvements. You see your discipline building. You catch patterns you didn't see before. You begin to understand how your decisions affect your outcomes. And that awareness fuels motivation, because you're no longer guessing. You're seeing the link between what you do and what you get. Daily improvement doesn't require giant leaps. It requires consistent steps. One action each day that moves you closer to your goals. That step might feel small. It might seem like it barely matters. But the power of tracking is that it reveals how those small steps add up. It shows you that growth is not about dramatic change. It's about steady movement. And when you can see that movement, no matter how slow, you keep going. You build momentum, not through speed, but through consistency. Start by choosing one area of your life that matters. It might be your health, your mindset, your skill, your finances, your focus. Then create a simple way to measure your progress in that area. Don't overthink it. Don't aim for perfection. You just need a system that gives you daily feedback. Write in a journal. Use a habit tracker. Keep a log. Score yourself on a scale. Take notes at the end of each day. What matters is that you're watching yourself grow. That process builds self-awareness, which is the foundation of all real improvement. Tracking is not about judgment. It's not about being hard on yourself when you fall short. It's about collecting information so you can make better decisions. If you miss a step, you don't lie to yourself. You acknowledge it. You ask why. You adjust. You move forward. Progress is not about being perfect. It's about being honest. When you're honest, you stop repeating the same mistakes. You learn faster. You course correct before the damage grows. That's what tracking helps you do. It removes the blind spots. You don't need to track everything at once. Start small. Focus on one habit, one routine, one behavior. Maybe you track your workouts. Maybe you track your reading time. Maybe you track your focus hours. As you gain confidence, expand. Layer on new behaviors. Over time, your tracking system becomes a mirror. It shows you who you are, how you spend your time, and whether your daily actions align with your bigger goals. That alignment is what creates real transformation. Daily tracking also builds accountability. When you write something down, you own it. When you review your day, you take responsibility. It's easy to lie to yourself when you're not paying attention. But when the data is in front of you, the truth is clear. Either you did the work or you didn't. Either you stayed disciplined or you drifted. That clarity doesn't feel good all the time, but it works. It creates change. Because when you face the truth, you can finally do something about it. Improving one step daily means you stop waiting for big breakthroughs. You stop chasing overnight change. Instead, you look at today. What's one thing you can do better than yesterday? Can you be more focused? Can you speak with more clarity? Can you show more patience? Can you move your body for a few more minutes? Can you learn one new concept? Can you avoid one distraction? That's it. One step. Small, specific, and consistent. That is the formula that builds lasting success. Every great transformation is made up of small adjustments. You build strength, one workout at a time. You build knowledge, one page at a time. You build clarity, one decision at a time. And every time you track those efforts, you reinforce your commitment. You remind yourself that growth is not something you hope for. It's something you work for, on purpose, with intention, every single day. There will be days when your progress feels invisible. Days when you don't see immediate results. That's normal, but tracking reminds you that consistency is a result in itself. Showing up is progress. Sticking to your habits is progress. Staying focused is progress. You're training your mind, even when the results haven't caught up yet. And when you look back at your notes, your log, your chart, you'll see how far you've come. You'll see that what felt like nothing was actually everything. The real progress was being built in the background. Tracking also helps you celebrate small wins. You don't have to wait for the finish line. You can acknowledge every step forward. That creates joy. That builds motivation. That keeps you connected to your journey. Because the journey is not about getting somewhere, it's about becoming someone. And that version of you is shaped every day by what you do, what you learn, and what you refine. Over time, the habit of tracking creates a deeper level of self-respect. You stop saying you want to grow. You prove it. You stop setting goals you don't follow through on. You stop living on autopilot. You begin to lead yourself with purpose. And that sense of inner leadership becomes a quiet confidence. You don't need to brag. You don't need to explain. Your daily actions speak for themselves. This habit also protects you from drift. Without tracking, it's easy to lose weeks or months without realizing how far you've veered off course. With tracking, even a few off days are noticed and corrected. You don't wait until the damage piles up. You stay alert. You stay sharp. You stay connected to the work, and that alertness is a form of discipline. It keeps you honest. It keeps you growing. There's power in seeing proof of your effort. When you track your progress, you create that proof. You stop relying on memory, mood, or emotion. You rely on facts. And those facts tell a story of growth, a story of consistency, a story of someone who shows up even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when no one's watching. That is how you build a life that matters. Not through dramatic moments, but through steady steps that you take on purpose. One step daily might sound small, but over a year, that's 65 steps. Over 5 years, that's more than 1,800 steps. Every one of those steps is a brick in the foundation of your future. So start now. Track today. Improve one thing, then repeat. That's the system. Simple, powerful, unstoppable. Chapter 10. Wake up early and use mornings to grow stronger. Waking up early is a powerful choice that sets the tone for your entire day. The morning hours hold a unique energy and stillness that you won't find at any other time. When you rise before most people, you gain an advantage few take seriously enough to claim. It is not about waking up early for the sake of it, but about using those quiet moments with intention to build strength, clarity, and focus. The early hours are a chance to take control before distractions arrive. They allow you to start the day on your own terms, not reacting to external demands, but leading your own experience. The morning is a blank canvas. How you use that time shapes your mindset, your energy and your discipline for the rest of the day. When you get up early, you give yourself space to focus on what truly matters without rush or pressure. You avoid the chaos of the day's noise and instead cultivate calm and purpose. This time can be spent on building your body, sharpening your mind, setting clear goals, or simply preparing yourself mentally for challenges ahead. Starting the day with a strong routine is like sharpening a tool before the work begins. It prepares you to perform at your best. People who use mornings wisely often outperform others because they begin each day with clear priorities. They do not wait for motivation to strike or for circumstances to be perfect. Instead, they act first, knowing that action creates motivation. This habit builds momentum that carries through every hour. Early rising is not a magic formula by itself. The magic is in what you do with those extra hours. A morning routine focused on growth turns time into your greatest asset, not your enemy. There is also a psychological benefit to waking early. When you take control of your morning, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you can overcome comfort and distraction. That success in the morning is a reminder that you can win the small battles that lead to larger victories. Each day you wake up early and use that time to improve. You strengthen your self-discipline. That discipline becomes a foundation for success in all areas of life. It becomes a habit that signals to your mind and body that growth is non-negotiable. The morning offers freedom from interruption. This is the time when your mind is fresh and creativity flows naturally. You can dive deep into reading, planning, exercise, meditation or skill building without the usual pull of emails, calls or social obligations. Using mornings to grow stronger means prioritizing activities that feed your body, mind and spirit. It might be stretching or working out to awaken your muscles. It might be journaling to clarify your thoughts and goals. It might be reviewing your plans or learning something new to prime your brain. These focused practices prime you for success. To wake up early consistently, you must respect your body's need for rest. This means going to bed at a reasonable hour and creating a nighttime routine that supports quality sleep. It means limiting screen time before bed and managing stress so your body can recover fully. Without this, waking early becomes a struggle instead of an advantage. Your mornings will feel like a battle, and the habit won't last. The goal is sustainable energy, not forced effort. When you treat sleep as a priority, waking early becomes natural and energizing. The power of morning growth is not limited to productivity. It also builds resilience. You learn to push through discomfort because waking early challenges your comfort zone. You build patience as you watch the day begin slowly and deliberately. You develop gratitude as you notice quiet moments often overlooked during busy hours. This morning practice shapes your character as much as your skills. It teaches you to be present, consistent and focused under conditions that are still and calm. Using mornings for growth requires clarity about your purpose. Without clear intentions, it's easy to waste morning time on distractions or indecision. Decide in advance what you will focus on each morning. Set a routine that fits your goals and energy. It might be a sequence of habits that prepare your mind and body for the day. It might include specific work on skills or health. When you have a plan, you avoid the trap of wasted time or morning confusion. You build momentum because every action serves a clear purpose. Some people fear that waking early means giving up rest or leisure. But this is a false choice. Rest is essential, but it must be balanced with action. Morning growth is not about punishing yourself. It is about investing in yourself. The reward is energy and clarity that carry through the day, making your work more efficient and your rest more restful. Over time, you'll notice how morning habits reduce stress and increase productivity, freeing time for relaxation and relationships later on. Consistency is the key to turning early rising into a strength. You don't need to wake up at dawn every day immediately. Start gradually. Shift your bedtime and wake time by 15 minutes every few days until you reach your goal. Be patient with yourself and honor your body's rhythms. Some mornings will be harder than others, but keep the commitment. Over weeks and months, you will build a reliable morning routine that feels natural and rewarding. The habit of using mornings to grow stronger is one of the simplest and most effective ways to create lasting change. It builds a foundation for discipline, focus, and clarity that transforms your entire life. When you control your mornings, you control your days. When you control your days, you control your future. The morning is your first victory. Claim it, nurture it, and watch as it fuels your success every single day. Chapter 11. Say no to comfort and choose growth every time. Comfort is a trap disguised as safety. It tempts you with ease and familiarity, but it often leads to stagnation. Choosing comfort means choosing the status quo. It means settling for what is known instead of reaching for what is possible. Growth demands the opposite. Growth asks you to leave comfort behind every time. Growth requires discomfort, challenge, and uncertainty. If you want to change your life, if you want to become stronger, wiser, and more capable, you must be willing to say no to comfort on a daily basis. This choice is not easy. It is not always popular, but it is necessary. Comfort is seductive because it offers short-term relief. It promises peace, but often delivers boredom or frustration in disguise. When you stay in your comfort zone, you avoid risk, conflict, and failure. But avoiding these things also means avoiding progress. Real growth is uncomfortable. It pushes you to face fears, overcome obstacles, and stretch your limits. It asks you to move into the unknown. It challenges your habits, beliefs, and routines. It requires effort when your body and mind want rest. But that effort is the only way to build strength that lasts. Choosing growth means developing a mindset that embraces challenge instead of resisting it. It means viewing discomfort as a sign of progress, not a reason to quit. When you say no to comfort, you are saying yes to your future self. You are telling yourself that the temporary pain of effort is worth the long-term gain of improvement. This mindset shift changes how you approach every situation. Instead of avoiding hard conversations, you engage them. Instead of procrastinating, you act. Instead of complaining about difficulty, you seek solutions. Saying no to comfort is a declaration that you are committed to becoming better, no matter what. Growth requires consistency in saying no to comfort. It's not a one-time decision, but a daily discipline. You will face countless moments where comfort calls, whether it's skipping your workout, procrastinating on important tasks, indulging in distractions, or avoiding necessary discomfort. Each time, you have the opportunity to choose growth. The small decisions build into a habit that shapes your entire life. Each time you push through resistance, you increase your capacity to handle future challenges. You become more resilient, confident, and capable. There is a misconception that growth is only about big actions or dramatic changes. The truth is that growth is built from many small choices to step outside your comfort zone. It might be waking up earlier than usual. It might be saying no to distractions. It might be having a difficult conversation. It might be learning a new skill despite frustration. These daily acts of courage and discipline create momentum. Over time, they transform your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who grows through challenge, not someone who seeks comfort and avoids risk. Saying no to comfort also means embracing failure and discomfort as natural parts of the process. Growth is rarely smooth. It involves setbacks, mistakes, and pain. Comfort tries to shield you from these experiences, but shielding keeps you stuck. When you choose growth, you accept that failure is feedback. You use it to learn and adjust. You understand that discomfort is temporary, but regret from inaction lasts much longer. This perspective frees you from fear and hesitation. It allows you to take risks, knowing that every step forward, no matter how hard, is valuable. This choice also influences your relationships. Surrounding yourself with people who prioritize comfort can hold you back. They may discourage change or mock your efforts to grow. When you commit to growth, you might face criticism or misunderstanding from those who prefer familiarity. But standing firm in your decision means valuing your future over temporary approval. It means building a life that aligns with your true potential, not the comfort of others' expectations. Saying no to comfort is often a lonely path at first, but it leads to genuine connection with others who share your drive. Comfort zones are often defined by habits. Breaking free means examining your routines and asking whether they serve your growth or your ease. It means cutting out behaviors that numb you or keep you distracted. It means creating new habits that push you forward even when it's difficult. This process takes awareness and honesty. It requires being willing to face parts of yourself that resist change. But as you consistently choose growth over comfort, your habits realign with your goals. You no longer settle for less because you value your potential more. Choosing growth every time means living with intention. It means making conscious decisions aligned with your values instead of drifting through life reacting to impulses. Growth is not accidental. It is deliberate. It is built on purpose and persistence. When you practice this daily, you develop mental toughness and clarity. You stop being controlled by fleeting feelings of ease or pain. Instead, you lead yourself with vision and discipline. This leadership of self is the foundation of all success. Comfort often masquerades as safety, but true safety comes from strength and preparation. When you choose growth over comfort, you build resilience that protects you against life's inevitable challenges. You become capable of handling stress, uncertainty, and failure without falling apart. You create a life where you are not easily shaken because you have prepared yourself through consistent effort. That preparation is the real safety net, not avoidance or escape. To live fully and achieve your potential, say no to comfort without hesitation. When your mind seeks excuses, remind yourself of your goals. When your body craves ease, remind yourself that growth is worth the struggle. When fear whispers to stay safe, remind yourself that your future self depends on your courage today. This internal dialogue keeps you focused and motivated. It turns resistance into fuel and discomfort into opportunity. Remember that growth is not comfortable by design. It is uncomfortable because it stretches you beyond what you've known. But that stretching is how muscles get stronger and how skills improve. You are training yourself not just to survive, but to thrive. The discomfort is temporary, but the results are permanent. Saying no to comfort is the pathway to a life of meaning, purpose, and achievement. Every day offers new chances to choose growth. Each moment of discomfort is an invitation to become stronger. When you respond to that invitation, you build momentum that carries you forward. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more. You develop the habits, mindset, and character needed for lasting success. Saying no to comfort is not just about avoiding ease. It is about embracing your potential and committing to the person you are becoming. The choice is yours every day. Stay comfortable or grow stronger. Growth demands courage, discipline, and resilience. Comfort offers temporary relief, but leads to stagnation. The secret to success is learning to choose growth every time, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. That choice builds a life worth living and a legacy worth leaving. Say no to comfort. Say yes to growth. That is how you win. Chapter 12. Develop patience and trust the long-term process. Patience is one of the most undervalued qualities in a world that demands instant results. Yet, it is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. Understanding that growth takes time allows you to stay steady through setbacks and delays. Trusting the long-term process means accepting that real progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. This trust helps you avoid frustration and discouragement when results don't show immediately. Instead, you learn to keep working consistently, knowing that every small effort adds up over time. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active endurance and confident persistence. When you develop patience, you build resilience against the temptations of quick fixes and shortcuts. The desire for immediate gratification can lead to poor decisions and half-finished goals. Patience teaches you to focus on sustainable progress rather than fleeting wins. It encourages you to respect the natural pace of growth, which often includes trial, error, and gradual improvement. This mindset keeps you committed, even when the path is long and uncertain. Patience means understanding that worthwhile achievements require time, effort, and dedication. Trusting the process also means letting go of the need to control every outcome. Control is an illusion, and trying to force results often creates anxiety and burnout. When you embrace patience, you accept that some things happen beyond your influence. You do your best work, but you release the pressure of demanding immediate success. This acceptance brings peace and mental clarity. It allows you to focus on the present moment and the actions within your reach, rather than worrying about future uncertainties. Trusting the process is about aligning effort with faith that your work will pay off in due time. Many people give up on their goals because they don't see instant progress. They expect quick transformations and become discouraged by slow or invisible changes. Developing patience means redefining success. Instead of judging progress by dramatic results, you measure it by your commitment and consistency. Each day you show up and put in effort is a victory. Each challenge you face without quitting is a sign of growth. This shift in perspective changes your entire approach to improvement. You learn to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. Patience deepens your understanding of cause and effect. You realize that success is rarely the result of one action, but the accumulation of many small, deliberate steps. This awareness encourages you to focus on daily habits and choices rather than waiting for a lucky break or perfect opportunity. You start valuing discipline, persistence, and steady effort because you see how they build momentum. Patience helps you resist the urge to compare your progress to others or to unrealistic timelines. It anchors you in your own path, recognizing that growth unfolds uniquely for everyone. Cultivating patience also involves learning to manage frustration and doubt. When progress feels slow, it's natural to question your efforts. You might wonder if you're doing the right things, or if success is even possible. Patience teaches you to accept these feelings without letting them derail your commitment. You acknowledge that doubt is a part of growth, and that frustration signals you are pushing beyond your comfort zone. Instead of reacting impulsively, patience encourages reflection and renewed focus. It gives you the strength to keep going, even when the road is difficult. Trusting the long-term process requires a strong vision and clear goals. When you know where you're headed, it becomes easier to be patient with the pace of progress. Your vision acts as a compass, guiding you through challenges and delays. It helps you stay motivated by reminding you of why the effort matters. Patience becomes a byproduct of purpose. The bigger and clearer your goals, the easier it is to endure setbacks and maintain steady work. Without vision, patience can feel like aimless waiting, but with vision, it becomes intentional persistence. Another important aspect of patience is learning to celebrate small wins. Often, the journey towards success is made up of tiny victories that may seem insignificant in the moment. These moments build confidence and reinforce your belief in the process. Recognizing and appreciating them fuels your motivation to continue. Patience allows you to find joy in progress rather than waiting for perfection. It shifts your focus from the destination to the meaningful steps you take each day. Developing patience also strengthens your character. It builds humility by teaching you that mastery takes time. It fosters gratitude by helping you see the value in the process itself. Patience grows your emotional intelligence, allowing you to respond calmly to setbacks instead of reacting with frustration. This emotional stability enhances your decision-making and relationships. Patience is a quiet power that supports every area of your life and deepens your overall well-being. Practicing patience requires self-discipline and mindfulness. You can cultivate patience by slowing down your reactions and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you feel rushed or anxious, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Create routines that support steady progress rather than bursts of frantic effort. Set realistic expectations and timelines that respect the natural pace of growth. Patience thrives when you balance ambition with acceptance. It's important to remember that patience does not mean passivity. It means active commitment sustained over time. You keep working, learning, and improving, even when immediate rewards are not visible. Patience turns effort into a long game. It teaches you to be consistent and persistent without burning out. This endurance becomes your greatest advantage. While others give up in frustration, your patience keeps you moving forward. Trusting the long-term process also prepares you for inevitable setbacks. Challenges will arise, and progress may slow or reverse at times. Patience gives you the strength to endure these moments without losing hope. You understand that setbacks are temporary and part of growth. You use difficulties as opportunities to learn and adjust. This resilience makes your success more stable and meaningful because it is built through experience and perseverance. The habit of patience transforms how you view time. Instead of rushing, you become comfortable with gradual change. You learn to respect the process of development in yourself and others. This perspective reduces stress and impatience, creating space for creativity and deeper learning. Patience allows you to pace yourself wisely and avoid burnout. It teaches you that meaningful success cannot be rushed and that lasting change requires time. In summary, patience and trust in the long-term process are essential to achieving meaningful growth. They protect you from discouragement and impulsive decisions. They help you stay committed through challenges and setbacks. They encourage steady, intentional action that builds momentum and confidence. When you develop patience, you align yourself with the natural rhythms of progress, understanding that every effort matters and that success is a journey, not a quick destination. This mindset creates resilience, clarity, and peace as you pursue your goal. Patience is the quiet strength that turns consistent effort into lasting achievement. Chapter 13. Speak less and let your actions build results. Words are easy to come by. Anyone can talk about plans, dreams, or ideas. Yet, words alone rarely produce meaningful change. Real transformation happens through action. Results are built not by what you say, but by what you do consistently over time. Speaking less and letting your actions carry the weight of your intentions is a powerful discipline that distinguishes those who achieve from those who only promise. This principle requires humility, patience, and focus. It invites you to be deliberate in how you communicate and relentless in your commitment to follow through. When you reduce unnecessary talking, you free your energy for doing. Talking can be a form of procrastination or self-promotion. It can create the illusion of progress without actual movement. By speaking less, you create space to concentrate on the work that matters. Your efforts become more efficient because you are not scattered in trying to explain, justify, or persuade others constantly. Instead, you channel your resources into producing tangible outcomes. Over time, these outcomes speak louder than any words ever could. Letting your actions build results means understanding that trust and respect are earned through consistent behavior, not empty promises. People notice what you do more than what you say. If your actions align with your words, your credibility grows naturally. If there is a gap between talk and action, you lose trust quickly. Speaking less protects you from making commitments you can't keep. It encourages careful consideration before speaking so that your words have weight and meaning. This habit fosters authenticity and integrity. Focusing on action also helps you avoid distractions caused by excessive talking or over-explaining. When you try to justify your decisions or defend your plans constantly, you waste mental energy and attention. This diversion weakens your focus and slows progress. Choosing to speak less keeps your mind clear and your intentions sharp. It forces you to prioritize the most important tasks. Instead of getting caught in discussions or debates, you move directly to implementation. This clarity accelerates growth. Speaking less also improves your listening skills. When you talk less, you naturally become more observant. You pick up details, ideas, and feedback that others might miss. This deeper understanding informs your actions and decisions. It helps you learn faster and adjust course when needed. Listening well is a sign of wisdom and maturity. It builds stronger relationships because people feel heard and valued. Actions guided by thoughtful listening are more effective and aligned with reality. In many situations, action has a greater impact than persuasion. Trying to convince others with words can be exhausting and unproductive. Demonstrating results through your work makes a stronger statement. Success becomes your proof. When you let your results do the talking, you avoid unnecessary conflict or misunderstanding. Others begin to respect your discipline and focus. This respect opens doors and creates opportunities that words alone cannot. It positions you as a reliable and capable person who leads by example. This principle also encourages patience. Waiting to speak until your actions have produced results keeps you humble and grounded. It reduces the temptation to boast or exaggerate. It reminds you that true achievement is measured in results, not applause. When you hold back words, you build anticipation and credibility. Your eventual communication carries more weight because it is backed by evidence. This strategic silence strengthens your influence and authority. In practice, speaking less and acting more means prioritizing doing over discussing. It means setting clear goals and breaking them into manageable steps that you consistently follow. It means creating routines and systems that support progress without constant explanation. This approach reduces pressure and anxiety because you are focused on what you can control, your effort and actions. It builds confidence as you see your results accumulate. The feedback loop between action and outcome becomes a source of motivation. Avoiding excessive talking also means being mindful of how you use your words. When you do speak, choose clarity, purpose, and honesty. Speak only when it adds value or moves a situation forward. Avoid gossip, complaints, or vague promises. Let your language reflect your commitment to action and growth. This discipline sharpens your communication and enhances your relationships. It builds a reputation for reliability and wisdom. Letting your actions build results also fosters resilience. When you focus on doing, you learn to accept setbacks and failures as part of the process. Instead of explaining away mistakes or blaming circumstances, you analyze, adjust, and keep moving forward. This mindset creates momentum and prevents stagnation caused by overthinking or overtalking. It teaches you to trust your ability to solve problems through persistent effort. This principle applies in every area of life, career, relationships, health, and personal development. In your work, Delivering consistent results advances your reputation and opportunities. In relationships, showing care and commitment through actions deepens trust and connection. In health, consistent habits produce lasting well-being. In personal growth, daily effort drives transformation. Speaking less and acting more is a universal strategy for building meaningful success. Over time, this habit changes how you see yourself and how others see you. You become someone known for reliability and effectiveness. Your silence becomes a sign of strength rather than weakness. People seek your guidance because your track record speaks for itself. You experience greater peace because you are not burdened by empty words or unmet expectations. Your focus on action aligns your life with your values and aspirations. This approach also encourages humility. By letting results speak, you acknowledge that success is earned, not declared. You avoid the trap of arrogance that comes from talking without delivering. You respect the effort required for growth and honor the process by showing up daily. This humility opens you to continuous learning and improvement. It keeps you grounded and adaptable. Speaking less and acting more is not about silence or withdrawal. It is about intentional communication paired with relentless effort. It is about balancing thoughtful speech with decisive action. It is about recognizing that words have power, but actions create impact. When you master this balance, you become a person who inspires through example rather than empty talk. In conclusion, the path to lasting success lies in focusing on your actions rather than your words. Speak less and let your work build results. Use your energy to create, improve, and deliver. Build trust through consistent effort and integrity. Cultivate patience and humility by letting results show your true progress. This disciplined approach strengthens your character, deepens your relationships, and accelerates your growth. The power of action over words is the secret to making meaningful change that lasts. Chapter 14. Cut out negative self-talk and speak with power. Negative self-talk is one of the biggest obstacles to personal growth and success. It creeps into your mind quietly and steadily undermines your confidence and motivation. These internal messages shape your beliefs about yourself and what you're capable of achieving. When you allow negative self-talk to dominate, you limit your potential and sabotage your efforts. The first step toward empowerment is recognizing this inner voice for what it is, an unhelpful pattern, not an absolute truth. Cutting out negative self-talk requires awareness, discipline, and intentional practice. It means choosing to replace doubt, fear, and criticism with words of encouragement, truth, and power. The language you use with yourself has a direct impact on your emotions and actions. Negative words trigger stress, anxiety, and avoidance. They keep you stuck in fear and indecision. When you speak with power to yourself, you create an inner environment that supports courage, resilience, and focus. This powerful self-talk fuels determination and helps you take consistent steps toward your goals. It builds mental strength and emotional stability. Cutting out negativity is not about ignoring problems, but about framing challenges in a way that promotes solutions and growth. Many people are unaware of how harshly they speak to themselves. They accept negative thoughts as facts without question. This acceptance reinforces limiting beliefs that become self-fulfilling prophecies. For example, telling yourself you're not good enough, smart enough, or deserving enough erodes your confidence. It influences your behavior in ways that confirm those beliefs. Changing this cycle requires catching these thoughts and challenging their validity. Ask yourself if the thought is true or simply a habit. Replace negative ideas with statements grounded in reality and possibility. Speaking with power means using words that empower rather than diminish. Use affirmations that remind you of your strengths, values, and past successes. Statements like "I am capable," "I learn from my mistakes," or "I am worthy of success" help rewire your brain toward confidence. The more you repeat these truths, the stronger they become. Powerful self-talk changes how you feel and act in difficult situations. It becomes a source of motivation and calm, helping you face challenges with clarity and courage. Changing your internal dialogue also improves your relationship. When you speak positively to yourself, you project confidence and kindness to others. You become less reactive to criticism and more open to constructive feedback. This attitude attracts support and collaboration. People are drawn to those who speak with certainty and treat themselves with respect. Cutting out negative self-talk fosters a positive social environment where growth is encouraged. This shift requires deliberate effort because negative self-talk is deeply ingrained. Start by becoming aware of your thoughts throughout the day. Notice when negativity arises, especially in stressful moments. Use mindfulness techniques to observe without judgment. This awareness creates distance between you and harmful thoughts, reducing their power. Then actively interrupt negative statements by replacing them with positive, realistic ones. This practice takes patience but gradually changes the way you think. Journaling is an effective tool for cutting out negative self-talk. Writing down your thoughts allows you to identify patterns and triggers. It creates space to reframe your mindset by rewriting negative entries into empowering narratives. Over time, this habit strengthens your ability to control your internal conversation. You become more intentional and less reactive. It's important to recognize that cutting out negative self-talk does not mean denying your feelings or struggles. Powerful self-talk is honest and compassionate. It acknowledges difficulties without judgment and focuses on solutions. It encourages growth by supporting you through setbacks rather than condemning you for them. This balanced approach builds emotional resilience and self-compassion. Replacing negative self-talk also affects your physical health. Chronic stress caused by harmful thoughts can lead to fatigue, weakened immunity, and other health issues. Positive self-talk reduces stress hormones and promotes relaxation. When your mind is at peace, your body functions better. This connection reinforces the importance of cultivating a supportive internal dialogue. Another key aspect is practicing how you speak out loud to yourself and others. The tone and volume of your voice influence how your words impact your mindset. Speaking with a firm, calm, and clear voice reinforces your belief in your words. Avoid mumbling, hesitant tones, or overly harsh criticism. Instead, aim for a tone that is assertive yet kind. This habit trains your brain to accept empowering messages and builds confidence in your communication skills. Cutting out negative self-talk also means being selective about the information and company you expose yourself to. Surround yourself with positivity that reinforces your new mindset. Limit exposure to negative news, social media, or conversations that trigger doubt or fear. Choose to engage with people and content that inspire and uplift you. This external environment supports your internal transformation. Consistency is vital in this process. Your mind will naturally revert to old patterns if you don't practice regularly. Make powerful self-talk a daily habit through morning affirmations, reflection, and deliberate interruptions of negative thoughts. Over time, this rewiring creates a new default mode of thinking, one that supports your goals and well-being. This internal change translates into external results. When you speak with power internally, you act with confidence, you take risks, and face challenges without hesitation. Your decisions become clearer and more aligned with your true potential. This alignment propels you forward and attracts opportunities. You stop being your own worst enemy and become your greatest ally. Ultimately, cutting out negative self-talk is an act of self-respect. It honors your worth and potential. It acknowledges that your inner dialogue shapes your reality and that you have the power to change it. This transformation is not easy, but it is essential. It lays the groundwork for lasting success, happiness, and peace of mind. Commit to this practice with patience and kindness. Notice your progress and celebrate small victories in shifting your mindset. Each time you replace negativity with power, you strengthen your capacity for growth. This journey leads to a life where your words build you up instead of tearing you down. You become a person who speaks and lives with confidence, courage, and clarity. Chapter 15. Push through pain and build real mental toughness. Pain is an inevitable part of life. It arrives in many forms: physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, and it tests your limits. Building mental toughness means learning how to endure this pain and push through it without losing sight of your goals. True toughness isn't about avoiding pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It is about facing pain head-on, understanding its purpose, and using it as a tool for growth. Mental toughness grows when you stop running from discomfort and start meeting it with determination and resilience. This ability to persist despite adversity is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. To push through pain, you must first accept it as a natural part of the journey. Resistance to pain only increases suffering. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it means acknowledging reality so you can respond wisely. When you accept pain, you reduce the fear and anxiety associated with it. This calmer mindset allows you to focus on solutions rather than getting overwhelmed by emotions. Acceptance gives you control over your reactions, turning pain into a challenge rather than a defeat. Building mental toughness also requires discipline. It demands that you commit to your purpose even when the path is hard. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results, because it keeps you moving forward regardless of how you feel. Pain often triggers the temptation to quit, to take shortcuts, or to settle for less. Discipline pushes you to resist those urges. It keeps you consistent and focused. Over time, this discipline becomes a habit that strengthens your mental muscles. Another key to mental toughness is perspective. How you interpret pain influences your response to it. Viewing pain as a setback creates frustration and helplessness. Viewing pain as a teacher creates opportunity and growth. When you reframe pain as feedback, you can analyze what it is telling you. Is there a lesson to learn? Is there a limit to challenge? Is there a need to adjust your approach? This mindset shifts pain from an enemy to a guide, helping you improve and adapt. Endurance is a critical component of mental toughness. The ability to keep going, even when progress feels slow or obstacles seem overwhelming, requires stamina. Endurance is built through repeated exposure to discomfort. Every time you choose to continue despite pain, you increase your capacity for resilience. You train your mind to tolerate hardship and remain steadfast. This training makes future challenges less daunting because you know you can survive and thrive. Mental toughness also involves managing your thoughts during painful times. Negative thoughts can magnify pain and drain your energy. Learning to observe these thoughts without attachment reduces their power. Replace them with affirmations of strength and capability. Remind yourself of past successes and the reasons why your goals matter. This mental training builds confidence and reduces the emotional impact of pain. It allows you to focus on action rather than fear. Support plays a role in developing toughness as well. Sharing your struggles with trusted individuals provides perspective, encouragement, and accountability. Mental toughness does not mean facing pain alone. It means having the courage to seek help when needed, while maintaining your commitment. Support can be a source of strength, helping you stay motivated and resilient during difficult moments. Rest and recovery are essential parts of pushing through pain. Mental toughness does not mean constant effort without breaks. It means balancing hard work with rest so that your body and mind can repair and grow stronger. Ignoring this balance leads to burnout and injury. Incorporating rest into your routine demonstrates wisdom and respect for your limits. Recovery enables you to sustain effort over the long term, which is the essence of toughness. Setting clear, meaningful goals supports mental toughness by giving you direction and purpose. When pain arises, these goals remind you why the effort is worthwhile. They create motivation that surpasses temporary discomfort. Breaking large goals into smaller milestones makes challenges manageable and progress visible. This structure helps maintain momentum and confidence. Purpose fuels perseverance and keeps you anchored during storms. Practicing visualization and mental rehearsal enhances toughness by preparing your mind for pain and challenge. Imagining yourself overcoming obstacles builds mental preparedness and reduces fear. It trains your brain to stay calm and focused when faced with adversity. Visualization creates a mental roadmap that guides your actions and reactions. This preparation makes real-life pain less intimidating and easier to manage. Building real mental toughness requires patience. It is not an overnight transformation but a gradual process. Each experience of pushing through pain adds to your strength. Each time you face difficulty without quitting, you build confidence and resilience. This cumulative growth creates a foundation of toughness that supports all areas of life. Patience keeps you committed to this long process, trusting that effort will yield results. Self-awareness is also crucial. Knowing your limits, triggers, and coping mechanisms allows you to manage pain more effectively. Awareness helps you recognize early signs of overwhelm or burnout so you can adjust your approach. It encourages self-care practices that support mental and physical well-being. This knowledge enhances your ability to endure pain without losing control. In essence, pushing through pain to build mental toughness is a discipline of mind, body, and spirit. It calls for acceptance, perspective, discipline, endurance, and support. It involves managing thoughts, balancing effort with rest, setting purposeful goals, practicing visualization, and cultivating patience and self-awareness. Together, these elements create a resilient mindset capable of withstanding life's challenges. This toughness transforms how you face adversity. Instead of retreating or giving up, you confront pain with courage and determination. You learn that pain is temporary, but the strength you build lasts forever. This strength empowers you to pursue your goals relentlessly and to live a life defined by resilience and achievement. Mental toughness is the secret weapon that turns obstacles into stepping stones and pain into power. It is the foundation for lasting success and personal mastery. Chapter 16. Reflect deeply and learn from every life mistake. Mistakes are often viewed as failures to avoid, but in reality, they are some of the most valuable teachers we have. Every mistake holds a lesson that, if embraced with honesty and depth, can guide you toward greater wisdom and growth. Reflecting deeply on your mistakes means pausing long enough to analyze what happened, why it happened, and what you can do differently next time. This practice turns setbacks into stepping stones. It transforms experiences of disappointment into opportunities for improvement. When you learn to reflect sincerely and constructively, mistakes lose their power to discourage you and instead become fuel for your progress. The first step in learning from mistakes is to stop blaming external factors or others. Taking full responsibility is essential because it puts the power to change in your hands. When you blame circumstances or people, you become a victim of your situation. Reflection requires you to look inward and accept your role honestly. This accountability builds integrity and self-awareness. It allows you to identify patterns or behaviors that contributed to the mistake. Without this clarity, growth remains superficial and limited. Deep reflection also means moving beyond surface explanations. It involves asking tough questions that challenge your assumptions and beliefs. Why did I make this choice? What emotions or thoughts influenced my decision? Was I avoiding something difficult? What could I have done differently? These questions require courage and honesty. They open the door to meaningful insight rather than excuses or rationalizations. The answers you uncover help you understand yourself better and prepare you to handle similar situations more effectively in the future. Learning from mistakes is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Reflection should become a habit integrated into your routine. Regularly reviewing your actions and their outcomes creates a cycle of continuous improvement. This habit allows you to course-correct quickly rather than repeating the same errors. Over time, this practice sharpens your judgment and decision-making skills. It also builds humility by reminding you that perfection is impossible, but progress is achievable through effort and learning. A key part of deep reflection is embracing discomfort. Facing your mistakes honestly often brings feelings of shame, regret, or frustration. These emotions can be painful, but they are necessary for growth. Instead of avoiding these feelings, acknowledge them fully. Use them as signals that you care about your progress and are ready to change. Managing these emotions with compassion rather than self-criticism fosters resilience. It prevents discouragement from turning into stagnation. Writing can be a powerful tool to support deep reflection. Journaling your thoughts and feelings about mistakes allows you to organize your insights clearly. It creates a safe space to explore your experience without judgment. Writing helps uncover patterns that might be missed in casual thinking. It also provides a record of your growth journey that you can revisit for motivation and clarity. Making reflection a written practice strengthens your commitment to learning and development. Reflection deepens your understanding of the difference between mistakes and failures. A mistake is a specific action or decision that did not produce the desired result. Failure is the final outcome when learning and adjustment do not occur. When you reflect deeply, you transform mistakes into valuable lessons and prevent them from becoming failures. This mindset shifts your relationship with errors from fear and avoidance to curiosity and opportunity. It encourages you to experiment and take calculated risks because you know you can learn from the outcomes. It's important to reflect on the impact of your mistakes, not only on yourself, but also on others. Consider how your actions affected relationships, trust, and opportunities. This awareness fosters empathy and accountability. It also guides you in making amends or changes that rebuild trust and respect. Reflection with this broader perspective strengthens your character and leadership qualities. It helps you grow into a person who not only improves personally, but also contributes positively to your community. Reflection is incomplete without taking action. Insights gained from deep thinking must translate into concrete changes. Identify specific behaviors, habits, or decisions that need adjustment. Create a plan to implement these changes with clear steps and timelines. Accountability mechanisms, such as sharing your goals with a mentor or tracking progress, increase your chances of success. Action turns reflection from passive thinking into active transformation. Learning from mistakes also involves forgiving yourself. Holding on to guilt or shame hinders progress. Self-forgiveness is an act of kindness and realism. It acknowledges that everyone makes mistakes and that you are committed to growth. Forgiveness frees you from the weight of past errors and allows you to move forward with renewed energy. It is an essential part of sustaining motivation and optimism throughout your journey. Reflection sharpens your problem-solving skills by helping you understand root causes rather than just symptoms. This deeper understanding leads to better strategies and solutions in the future. It helps you anticipate challenges and prepare accordingly. Reflection also enhances creativity by encouraging you to consider alternative perspectives and approaches. This flexibility is crucial for adapting in a constantly changing world. Practicing reflection regularly builds mental clarity and emotional balance. It creates space for insight rather than reaction. Instead of repeating the same mistakes unconsciously, you develop the ability to pause, analyze, and respond wisely. This skill improves your overall decision-making and reduces impulsivity. It strengthens your ability to navigate complexity with calm and confidence. Reflection teaches patience with yourself and the growth process. You learn that mastery comes through trial, error, and gradual improvement. This understanding reduces frustration when progress seems slow. It encourages persistence and steady effort. Reflection reminds you that setbacks are part of learning and not indicators of failure. Ultimately, deep reflection and learning from mistakes empower you to take control of your life. You become proactive in shaping your future rather than reactive to circumstances. You build a mindset that sees every experience as valuable, every error as a lesson, and every challenge as an opportunity. This mindset transforms difficulties into growth and sets the foundation for lasting success and fulfillment. This practice makes you wiser, stronger, and more adaptable. It equips you to handle life's uncertainties with grace and confidence. It enhances your relationships through increased empathy and accountability. It deepens your self-awareness and fuels continuous personal development. Reflecting deeply on your mistakes is not just about avoiding future errors. It is about becoming the best version of yourself through thoughtful learning and deliberate action. Chapter 17. Create clear goals and work on them every day. Success is rarely accidental. It is the result of intentional effort directed toward clear goals. Without defined objectives, your energy disperses in many directions without meaningful progress. Creating clear goals provides a roadmap that guides your daily actions and decisions. It turns vague desires into focused targets. Working on these goals every day builds momentum and transforms dreams into reality. This practice requires clarity, consistency, and commitment. It demands that you break down large ambitions into manageable steps and commit to steady progress regardless of obstacles. Clear goals act as a compass. They help you prioritize tasks, allocate time effectively, and resist distractions. When your goals are well defined, you know exactly what you are working toward and why. This clarity fuels motivation and reduces uncertainty. Ambiguity drains energy because it creates hesitation and indecision. Specific goals give you a clear endpoint to aim for, making it easier to measure progress and celebrate small wins along the way. Setting goals begins with reflection on your values and vision for life. Goals aligned with your core beliefs are more meaningful and sustainable. They connect daily effort with a deeper sense of purpose. When your goals resonate with who you are and what you truly want, you are more likely to stay committed. This alignment reduces resistance and increases satisfaction during the journey. Taking time to clarify your why strengthens your resolve and guides your priorities. Effective goals are concrete and measurable. Instead of vague intentions like "I want to be healthier," specify targets such as "I will exercise 30 minutes, 5 times a week." Measurable goals provide clear benchmarks for success. They allow you to track your progress and adjust your approach if needed. This feedback loop keeps you informed and motivated. Concrete goals prevent procrastination and create accountability because they require action rather than wishful thinking. Breaking down big goals into smaller, actionable steps is essential for daily work. Large goals can feel overwhelming and distant. Dividing them into manageable tasks makes progress achievable and consistent. These smaller steps build confidence as you accomplish them one by one. This process also reveals what resources, skills, or support you need. Planning your daily actions around these steps creates a structured routine that drives steady advancement. Consistency is the key to turning goals into results. Working on your goals every day creates habits that support long-term success. Even small daily efforts accumulate into significant progress over time. Skipping days or relying on motivation alone leads to uneven results. Discipline and persistence overcome fluctuations in emotion and circumstance. Making your goals a non-negotiable part of your daily routine ensures continuous movement forward. Accountability enhances your commitment to daily work. Sharing your goals with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach creates external support and pressure to follow through. Regular check-ins help you stay on track and celebrate milestones. Accountability partners provide encouragement and honest feedback. This network of support reduces isolation and increases your chances of success. Tracking your progress is vital to maintain focus and motivation. Keeping a journal, checklist, or digital tracker helps you visualize your growth. Reviewing what you have accomplished boosts confidence and reveals areas for improvement. It also reinforces the habit of reflection and adjustment. Monitoring progress creates a sense of achievement and fuels momentum during challenging periods. Flexibility is necessary when working on goals. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles will arise. Being rigid or perfectionistic can lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, adapt your plans as needed without losing sight of your ultimate objectives. Adjusting strategies while maintaining commitment is a sign of strength and wisdom. Flexibility allows you to learn from experience and find better paths to your goals. Prioritizing goals prevents overwhelm and scattered effort. Focus on the most important goals that align with your values and have the greatest impact. Trying to pursue too many goals at once dilutes your energy and attention. Select a few high-priority goals and give them your best effort. This focus produces deeper results and reduces stress. Daily goal work builds confidence and self-efficacy. As you experience progress, you trust your ability to set targets and achieve them. This confidence creates a positive cycle where success breeds more success. It empowers you to set higher goals and face greater challenges. Believing in your capacity to improve is fundamental to lasting achievement. Goal setting and daily work cultivate patience and perseverance. Results often come gradually rather than instantly. Learning to persist through slow progress develops resilience and mental toughness. This patience keeps you motivated during setbacks and prevents discouragement. Understanding that growth is a process makes the journey more rewarding. Visualization complements daily goal work by reinforcing your commitment and focus. Imagining yourself achieving your goals creates a mental image that motivates action. This mental rehearsal strengthens your belief and prepares you emotionally for success. Visualization helps you stay connected to your purpose and maintains enthusiasm over time. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, reinforces the habit of daily work. Recognizing your effort and achievements boosts morale and sustains motivation. It shifts focus from what is lacking to what has been gained. This positive reinforcement encourages you to continue investing in your growth. Working on clear goals every day sharpens your decision-making skills. You learn to evaluate choices based on whether they move you closer or farther from your objectives. This clarity simplifies priorities and reduces distractions. It strengthens your ability to say no to non-essential activities and yes to actions that matter. Daily effort toward goals fosters discipline across all areas of life. The habits formed spill over into work ethic, time management, and personal responsibility. This discipline supports success beyond the initial goals and creates a foundation for lifelong growth. Committing to daily progress builds character and resilience. Ultimately, creating clear goals and working on them every day transforms your life. It moves you from passive dreaming to active achievement. It creates momentum that carries you through challenges and setbacks. It aligns your daily choices with your deepest desires. This alignment brings fulfillment, purpose, and measurable success. The power of clear goals combined with consistent effort is the secret to lasting transformation and a meaningful life. Chapter 18. Take full control of your habits and behavior. Your habits and behaviors shape every aspect of your life, often without you even realizing it. Taking full control of these automatic actions is the cornerstone of meaningful change and personal mastery. When you consciously direct your habits, you align your daily life with your highest goals and values. This control is not about perfection, but about consistent, intentional choices that steer your life in the direction you want. Habits are the building blocks of character, success, and happiness. Mastering them means mastering yourself. Begin by becoming aware of your current habits. Most routines run on autopilot, triggered by cues in your environment or your emotional state. Awareness is the first step to gaining control because you cannot change what you do not recognize. Pay attention to what you do daily, how you respond to stress, and what patterns repeat without conscious thought. This honest observation reveals which habits serve your growth and which hold you back. Next, analyze the impact of your habits on your life. Are they moving you closer to your goals or creating obstacles? Which habits drain your energy, time, or focus? Which ones build strength, health, or knowledge? This evaluation helps you prioritize what to change. It also motivates you by making the consequences of your habits clear. When you understand the costs of negative behaviors, the desire to change grows stronger. Taking control requires setting specific intentions about the habits you want to develop or eliminate. Vague goals like "I want to be healthier" are less effective than clear intentions, such as "I will walk 20 minutes every morning" or "I will stop checking social media after 8 p.m. Clear intentions provide direction and make success measurable. They create accountability and focus your efforts on concrete actions. Changing habits involves disrupting old patterns and replacing them with new ones. Because habits are deeply wired in your brain, breaking them takes time and persistence. Identify the triggers that lead to undesired behaviors and alter your environment to avoid them. For example, if you tend to snack unhealthily when watching TV, remove junk food from your living space or find alternative activity. Creating friction for bad habits reduces their frequency and opens space for better choices. Simultaneously, build new habits by linking them to existing routines or positive triggers. This method, known as habit stacking, makes adoption easier by associating the new behavior with a familiar context. For example, after brushing your teeth, you might immediately do 5 minutes of stretching. This pairing creates a natural flow and reduces resistance. Consistency in practice solidifies the habit over time until it becomes automatic. Self-discipline plays a crucial role in controlling your habits. Willpower alone is limited, so creating structures and systems supports your discipline. Planning your day in advance, setting reminders, and limiting temptations increase your chances of success. Discipline is strengthened through repetition and by celebrating small wins. Each successful action builds momentum and confidence to sustain change. Accountability enhances control over behavior. Sharing your goals with someone who encourages and monitors your progress creates external motivation. This accountability partner can provide support during setbacks and help maintain focus. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitment increases responsibility and reduces the likelihood of giving up. Managing setbacks wisely is part of taking control. Habits do not change in a straight line. Lapses happen. Instead of judging yourself harshly, analyze what led to the slip and how to prevent it in the future. This approach transforms mistakes into learning opportunities rather than sources of discouragement. Persistence through failures builds resilience and strengthens your ability to maintain control. Mindfulness strengthens your ability to manage habits and behavior. Practicing presence allows you to notice urges and cravings without acting impulsively. Mindfulness creates a pause between stimulus and response, giving you space to choose deliberate actions. This skill improves emotional regulation and reduces reactive habits that often lead to regret or distraction. Understanding the connection between habits and identity is powerful. Your behaviors reflect and reinforce how you see yourself. When you identify as a disciplined, healthy, or focused person, your habits align with that identity. This alignment creates internal motivation and consistency. Work on cultivating a positive self-image that supports the habits you want to develop. Affirmations and self-reflection can strengthen this identity. Technology can be a useful tool to control habits when used intentionally. Apps for tracking progress, setting reminders, or blocking distractions provide structure and data. However, technology should serve your goals, not dominate your attention. Use it mindfully to enhance your discipline rather than weaken it. Taking control of habits also involves understanding your triggers and emotional states. Stress, boredom, or fatigue often lead to automatic behaviors that may not serve you. Developing healthier coping mechanisms for these emotions reduces reliance on unhelpful habits. Techniques such as deep breathing, short walks, or journaling offer alternatives that nurture well-being and self-control. Routine design is a powerful strategy to take control. Structuring your environment and daily schedule to support positive habits reduces decision fatigue and resistance. Simple changes like placing workout clothes next to your bed or keeping a water bottle on your desk make good habits easier to maintain. Designing your life intentionally around desired behaviors sets you up for success. Taking full control means becoming proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for motivation or willpower to strike, create systems that guide your actions automatically. Build habits that require minimal conscious effort but yield maximum benefit. This proactive approach reduces stress and increases efficiency. Tracking progress is essential to maintain control. Measuring your behavior daily provides feedback that informs adjustments and celebrates improvement. Use journals, charts, or apps to record your consistency and reflect on challenges. This data-driven approach strengthens your commitment and reveals patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. The process of mastering habits is ongoing. As you grow, your goals and circumstances change. Regularly review your habits to ensure they remain aligned with your evolving priorities. Adapt your strategies to new challenges and opportunities. This dynamic approach keeps your control flexible and relevant. In essence, taking full control of your habits and behavior is the foundation of personal power. It requires awareness, intentionality, and resilience. It calls for disrupting old patterns, building new ones, and supporting yourself with discipline, accountability, and mindfulness. This mastery allows you to direct your life toward your highest potential rather than being a passive participant. Control over habits is control over your destiny. It empowers you to create lasting change, overcome obstacles, and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Chapter 19. Stay humble and always keep learning and evolving. Humility is the foundation of lasting growth. It keeps the mind open and the heart receptive to new knowledge and experiences. When you stay humble, you recognize that no matter how much you have achieved, there is always more to learn. This attitude prevents arrogance and complacency, which are enemies of progress. Embracing humility allows you to see your strengths and weaknesses clearly without denial or exaggeration. This clarity is essential for continuous improvement because it guides where to focus your efforts next. A humble mindset fosters curiosity. Instead of assuming you know everything, you approach life with a willingness to explore and discover. This openness encourages you to ask questions, seek advice, and absorb lessons from every encounter. It expands your perspective beyond your current understanding. Curiosity leads to deeper insight and innovation because it challenges the status quo. Staying humble means accepting that growth comes from embracing the unknown and learning from others. Learning is a lifelong journey that requires dedication and effort. It is not limited to formal education, but includes all experiences that teach you about yourself and the world. Staying humble keeps you aware that learning never ends, no matter your age or position. This realization drives you to seek knowledge consistently and adapt to change. It strengthens your ability to navigate complexity by expanding your skill set and mental models. Evolving means transforming your beliefs, habits, and actions based on what you learn. Staying humble allows you to question your assumptions and be flexible. It means accepting feedback and criticism without defensiveness. This openness creates space for growth, because you do not cling rigidly to old ways. Evolving requires courage to let go of outdated ideas and adopt new ones that better serve your goals and well-being. Humility enhances relationships because it fosters respect and empathy. When you are humble, you listen more and judge less. You value others' experiences and viewpoints even when they differ from your own. This attitude builds trust and collaboration, which are essential for personal and professional success. Staying humble means recognizing that others can teach you valuable lessons and that you do not have all the answers. Practicing humility requires self-awareness. It involves regularly reflecting on your attitudes and behaviors to ensure they align with your values. This reflection helps you identify moments when pride or ego might cloud your judgment. Awareness allows you to course correct and return to a humble stance. Mindfulness practices can support this process by helping you observe your thoughts and emotions without attachment. Continuous learning demands discipline and intentionality. It means setting aside time each day to acquire new knowledge or skills. This could include reading, listening to podcasts, attending workshops, or engaging in meaningful conversations. Staying humble motivates you to make learning a priority rather than a sporadic activity. The discipline of consistent learning builds momentum and deepens your expertise over time. Evolving is also about applying what you learn. Knowledge without action has limited value. Humility encourages you to test new ideas in real life, learn from the results, and adjust accordingly. This iterative process drives improvement and innovation. It prevents stagnation and keeps you moving forward. Staying humble means being a student of life who embraces trial, error, and adaptation. Challenges and setbacks are opportunities to practice humility and learning. Difficult experiences often reveal gaps in knowledge or skill. Instead of resisting or blaming, a humble learner embraces these moments as valuable teachers. This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones for growth. It builds resilience and prepares you for future success. Surrounding yourself with diverse perspectives supports humility and evolution. Engaging with people from different backgrounds and viewpoints expands your understanding. It challenges your assumptions and encourages critical thinking. Staying humble means valuing this diversity as a source of strength and insight. It prevents narrow thinking and promotes creativity. Humility helps you balance confidence with openness. While you trust your abilities and experience, you remain aware of your limitations. This balance prevents arrogance and fosters continuous growth. It allows you to take risks and pursue goals with courage, while staying receptive to feedback and new information. Learning and evolving with humility enhances your sense of purpose. It connects daily efforts to a larger mission of becoming your best self. This connection fuels motivation and perseverance. Humility anchors your growth in reality, preventing unrealistic expectations and burnout. The process of staying humble and continuously learning is deeply rewarding. It cultivates wisdom, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. These qualities improve every area of your life, from relationships to career to personal fulfillment. Embracing humility opens doors to opportunities and connections that pride might close. In conclusion, humility is not weakness but strength. It is the foundation of genuine learning and lasting evolution. Staying humble keeps your mind and heart open to new possibilities. It enables you to grow beyond current limits and reach higher levels of success and fulfillment. This mindset empowers you to face life's challenges with grace and resilience. It transforms you into a lifelong learner committed to becoming the best version of yourself through continual growth and adaptation. Chapter 20. Lead by example and help others grow with you. True leadership begins with action, not words. When you lead by example, you demonstrate the standards, values, and behaviors you want others to follow. This form of leadership carries a powerful influence because it is rooted in authenticity and integrity. People are more likely to trust and respect someone who lives their principles consistently rather than someone who merely preaches them. Leading by example builds credibility and creates an environment where growth becomes natural and contagious. Taking initiative in your own development sets a precedent for others. When you commit to continuous learning, discipline, and improvement, you silently challenge those around you to raise their own standards. Your dedication serves as a living blueprint that shows success is achievable through effort and consistency. This influence can inspire others to overcome their doubts and adopt similar habits, sparking collective progress. The example you set becomes a catalyst for positive change beyond your individual journey. Leadership through example also means embracing accountability openly. When you admit mistakes, learn from failures, and take responsibility, you create a culture of honesty and growth. This transparency encourages others to do the same without fear of judgment or shame. Demonstrating resilience in the face of setbacks teaches important lessons about perseverance and humility. It shows that success is not about perfection, but about persistent effort and self-awareness. Helping others grow with you requires patience and empathy. Everyone moves at their own pace and faces unique challenges. Leading by example involves recognizing these differences and supporting others without pressure or judgment. Offering guidance, encouragement, and constructive feedback nurtures a positive environment where growth flourishes. When you genuinely care about others' progress, your influence deepens, creating strong connections based on mutual respect and trust. Communication plays a crucial role in leading others effectively. Sharing your experiences, insights, and lessons learned provides valuable context and motivation. Stories of challenges overcome and milestones reached resonate deeply and make growth tangible. Transparent communication bridges gaps in understanding and invites others to engage actively in their own development. It creates a shared sense of purpose and reinforces collective commitment to improvement. Mentorship is a powerful way to help others grow alongside you. By investing time and energy in coaching, teaching, or simply listening, you empower others to unlock their potential. Mentorship builds confidence and provides practical tools that accelerate progress. It also enriches your own growth by expanding your perspective and honing leadership skills. Leading through mentorship creates a ripple effect that multiplies positive impact far beyond your immediate circle. Creating opportunities for collaboration fosters a growth mindset in groups. When people work together toward common goals, they learn from each other's strengths and perspectives. This synergy enhances creativity, problem-solving, and motivation. As a leader, facilitating collaboration means encouraging open dialogue, valuing diverse ideas, and resolving conflicts constructively. Building a community committed to collective success strengthens everyone involved. Consistency in your actions reinforces your leadership credibility. Sporadic efforts or inconsistent behavior undermine trust and confuse those you aim to lead. Demonstrating steady commitment to your values and goals provides a stable foundation others can rely on. Consistency shows that your leadership is not based on convenience, but on deeply held principles. This reliability encourages others to mirror your dedication and form lasting habits of their own. Leading by example requires courage to face challenges visibly. Sometimes growth involves difficult decisions, sacrifices, or confronting uncomfortable truths. When you show strength in these moments, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage models how to navigate uncertainty and adversity with integrity. It teaches that true leadership is not about avoiding difficulty, but meeting it with resolve and wisdom. Supporting others' growth means celebrating their achievements sincerely. Recognizing progress and effort motivates individuals and reinforces positive behavior. Genuine acknowledgement builds self-esteem and fosters a culture of encouragement. When you celebrate others, you demonstrate that growth is a shared journey and that success multiplies when uplifted by community. Flexibility in your leadership approach respects individual needs and situations. Not everyone responds to the same methods or pace. Adapting your guidance and support shows respect for personal differences and maximizes impact. This flexibility requires attentiveness and a willingness to learn alongside those you lead. It enriches your leadership by making it more inclusive and effective. Leading by example also means prioritizing ethical behavior. Acting with honesty, fairness, and respect sets a moral standard that shapes group culture. Ethical leadership builds trust and long-term loyalty. It ensures that growth happens in a way that honors dignity and values. Upholding integrity in every action inspires others to do the same and creates a legacy of principled success. Developing emotional intelligence enhances your ability to lead effectively. Understanding and managing your emotions improves communication and decision-making. Empathy helps you connect deeply with others and respond to their needs thoughtfully. Emotional intelligence fosters a supportive atmosphere where people feel valued and motivated to grow. Cultivating these skills strengthens your influence and enriches relationships. Encouraging reflection is an essential part of helping others grow. Prompting self-assessment and critical thinking enables individuals to understand their progress and areas for improvement. Reflection deepens learning by connecting experience with insight. As a leader, facilitating this process empowers others to take ownership of their development and become self-directed learners. Modeling a growth mindset energizes your leadership, emphasizing effort, learning from failure, and embracing challenges teaches resilience and optimism. This mindset creates a culture where mistakes are seen as opportunities rather than threats. It encourages continuous experimentation and innovation. Demonstrating a growth mindset inspires others to persist and adapt, fueling collective evolution. Providing clear vision and purpose aligns efforts toward meaningful goals. When people understand why their growth matters and how it connects to larger objectives, motivation increases. Clear direction focuses energy and clarifies priorities. As a leader, communicating this vision consistently helps sustain momentum and commitment. It creates a shared path where everyone knows their role and contribution. Balancing authority with approachability builds trust in your leadership. Being accessible and open to dialogue invites collaboration and feedback. This openness fosters psychological safety, encouraging people to share ideas and concerns without fear. When leadership is approachable, it creates a supportive environment that nurtures growth and innovation. Leading by example means accepting your own imperfections openly. Acknowledging that you are also on a journey of growth humanizes your leadership and removes barriers. It encourages vulnerability and authenticity, making connections deeper and more genuine. Embracing imperfection models self-compassion and motivates others to persist despite setbacks. Fostering a culture of gratitude amplifies positive energy within your community. Expressing appreciation for effort, progress, and collaboration strengthens bonds and motivation. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity to abundance, creating an uplifting environment. Leading with gratitude inspires generosity and kindness, enriching collective growth.